Yo, 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 yo. This is your boy Corey S. Hoot, and we are live. Y'all, today what we're going to do, we're going to watch a little of the FNCS. So sit back, enjoy. I'm going to be off camera, but I will be talking to you. So welcome in, welcome in, welcome in.
So you got to be careful for that one as you're rotating through. As Muzz rises.
What's up, Utah?
You can see they're already beginning that rotation out of shiny shafts, slowly but surely, since the zone is rather close. And you can kind of see where the zone is at this time around, just inside of Lone Wolf Slaver. Maybe a little bit of brutal boxcars on the side.
Nice, calm here right now for the team. Rise positioned up at the surge base right now, but zone's already starting to pop.
Hey, Utah, can you hear it?
Another Eastern draw so far.
Just looking around, see how many teams are still getting left behind. They have the time and the luxury to do it, but on the other side, they might not. Broken, Liam 20. No extra shields for Broken. He does have a med kit, so you can see the possibility of how long this fight has actually been going on, but there is going to be one knock on the other side. 20 goes down, so still a 2v2 breaking out, but at least Broken was able to grab a lot of that extra loot. The siphon mats could be the difference.
I'm turning it up.
Finally goes through onto JoJo. 2v2 breaking out, but a full third trio. A third party is now moving in to interrupt this fight.
So I was gonna say, Aviv, Skittles, Chimp sitting comfortably on the outskirts, watching it all go down, chipping away at damage here. They have the prime positioning, and notice what they're trying to do. Let this middle team kind of wrap things up or break it out, initiate it, so they can clean up the extra elims that start to scatter away. And one thing's for certain, they're picking up a lot of damage with the Oxy on the run now. In comes Skips and crew. Skittles Chimp already putting more shots down. Broken forced the Jug here alongside Liam. Very little time left, but Skittles is on the wall.
What's up,
He's
Fly?
on the other side here.
Oh, yeah, but Fly, definitely won't click to win, bro.
Before they likely pick up these elims right now, and
Karate Keisha
said,
said,
hey.
How you doing, Karate Keisha?
This game, right? They had a couple great moments where they were kind of breaking out of the early game.
Fly, I got to get your stuff set back up, bro.
In their direction right now.
I took my PC to get fixed, so.
Since the zone had pulled.
Oh, yeah, that's what we're doing, bro. Welcome in, 10 viewers. I see y'all coming through.
But Skittles, Chimp, and V
Kirakisha said, "Good, how are you?"
What's up, TJ?
This far back in the zone, they get a lot of the extra.
Good. Y'all, we just watching the FNCS today.
Fighting off spawn or just trying to take shots on any teams rotating late, trying to get out of the zone. This time around, it does work out for them. And one of the big reasons why they feel so comfortable staying so deep into zone on this side of the map is because there's geysers, launch pads, then obviously if they have the kneecappers, there's a lot of different mobility tools they can use to close the distance quick.
From the highlight, how things end up working there, and I was just looking at the standings. That's gonna put them up in 13th.
Y'all, this is y'all gonna start seeing us in this because this is what I'm gonna start competing for, y'all, right here.
Can fight their way into a top 10
So
after this
get
game's
ready.
over. Cooper, Ree, and Curly continuing the action here at the Flooded Frogs. So far, so good for them as far as the overall damage. Zone's gonna land relatively close here.
In that last game for them, with a little bit of a
Yeah, we definitely gotta be in the tournaments.
like yesterday, that was their worst game of the tournament so far.
Like even like the ranked matches today in Build, I enjoyed them. I really enjoyed them. Are you at work? Okay, cool, bro.
I did see Sillet get it down onto Poyo. Agers does look
How
like
was
he's
work,
still alive
Flo?
though. They have a chance to heal up. They have med miss.
Nah, bro, I'm gonna be the best
utility.
controller player
To
ever.
go back in his zone over towards Mass Meadows to get the reboot back onto Poyo, so it should be not too much hard work for them to be alive as a trio once more. The biggest thing that I'm really watching out for is with Poyo going down, getting rebooted, how much surge did they actually lose off of that?
Yeah, it's the setback that really makes the difference. Take a look at it. It's against Xanda, Evan, and Sandalit. Oh, they get deleted from behind.
He did get lasered.
It's the small things, right? The small regrets that end up sending you right back.
I feel like it's happening more and more where you think you have an isolated fight that deep in the zone, and then out of nowhere, a third team comes out of nowhere.
We can do a tournament.
Visuals, braids, and diminished. They were able to quickly move north from Foxy Floodgates. They're trying to get the Brutal Boxcars Mountain.
We'll get the prize. We'll get
And if
all
the
of
trend
together and
continues and we have
donate.
some of the same zones game after game hovering over
whatever
each other,
the
we're going to see a lot of
gift, the prizes
proactivity come
is,
out
and then
of
we'll
some
go
of these
from there.
teams, this being one of them. But
Here's the
now,
thing.
depending on where there's... Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, this is where they positioned up last game, right? They
Yeah,
seem to be
exactly.
comfortable coming here, taking the fights on this mountain, but this time around they wanted to get here early so they didn't have to really box out, you know, a team while getting third-partied. So they get the full wipe, and then look at that, they're fully based up now.
Read my mind right there. And this is, I feel like, one of the first times we're seeing Clix, Yamzo, and Higgs actually fight for this black market. They're realizing how close the tournament is, and they're pulling out every single strategy, going back to what they know has worked in some of those past Divisional Cup tournaments. 341 damage above the threshold. The zone is moving over towards this direction. So they're maybe learning, adapting here as the games go on.
Don't call it too early now. We might might jinx it. We get another Magic Moss's endgame. Little update from Agers though. Going on here. So Bugha picked up. Little damage given that he's playing the zone right now. Agers is making super sure there's no one kind
bro.
of lurking
We'll
about
get
right
them.
here. Not trusting a bush, not trusting the builds. This tower is obviously still in the zone right now.
Uh-oh. It's like a stroll in the park on one side, but on this one, Yamzo just takes a big shot, maybe even kneecapper on top. Clix as well, dropped down to 105 HP and shield, forced to backtrack. At least he reunites with Higgs, where he knows he has a little bit of extra help, so that way he can finally pop those heals. It's Yamzo
he
the one
did get him.
that has a little bit of worry. I say that lightly, though, because he already
that
has
was
elimination
crazy.
onto
Look,
Tony.
man.
That's going to help
To be
with the
word.
Siphon, the extra materials as they continue to push forward.
Actually caught the second elimination there as well. So look at this. Last game they kicked it off with 4 elims in the early game. This time they're finding some mid-game critical fights here. And then they get to secure the market and everything in between right now.
So
This is
why are they
actually
doing
perfect.
that?
And now you look in the
Why are they
outskirts,
what's
there
the
are
importance?
other options as well, right? You have to think about how those teams are likely thinking that they need to get into a surge fight as well. But if you're Higgs, Yamzo, and Clix, they got a brief glimpse of how well set up they are right now.
It's just
You know what?
unfortunate
I
Creedence
like
by
Clix.
himself,
I
and
wish
they
I
have
would've
some
got his
extra
skin
HP
down
down below, so they
that I'm
can
really getting that
literally outstay their welcome over there.
I would've bought his
Rise
skin.
Yapko Muzz, still slow to rotate, pulls further and further towards Brutal Boxcars. Again, that mountain range that some have invested into early
You
on
have to send him to
might
me.
have been
What
the
he-
fruitful
what
play
is
that
his main
works out.
platform?
But with 845 damage above the threshold, they really don't have to worry about anything other than making it to zone. And it sounds easier than it actually is, because you saw what trio is waiting at the other side.
Send it to me.
Somehow, some way.
So can you live stream
miracles
these games?
are true. They weren't spotted out.
Do they be live
They
streaming
can see
these?
Ritual and Cold moving their heels out of the base.
Ooh,
And look
that's
at
a
how
good fight right
quickly
there.
they end up boxing
Ooh,
down.
that
Hold
was
up.
nasty.
Agers, Acorn, and Bugha not letting up the pressure here. They ended up tailing that team that just got the pickup right off the outskirts on the bridge. And it's G-Monster and Osid who fall now to the hands of Agers, Acorn, and Bugha. So big set of
Think about
eliminations
me
here.
running. Oh, he
We
is?
talked about them
I'm gonna
being
put him on.
out of damage. They're only 181 above after picking up 2 eliminations, so it shows you they could have been 500 or 600 behind just moments ago.
Oh. You know where it's going, right, Monster? You know where we're headed, right? Maybe they can
I
take
bet
the
you
train
this
because
is
we're
a-
going to
I bet
Brutal
you this is a
Boxcars,
lot of
but it looks
pressure,
like
right?
that mountain
He's
range
playing
that some
in the
invested into
live.
might be worth it. As
He's playing
JoJo
this
Fishy
game, like,
trying
in
to
this
pass Peter Bach.
very
He gets taken
intense
down from one player
tournament.
to the next. Aoxy feels that same pain, and they felt it twice in the same game because remember, they were trying to disengage as a solo. At least he got the reboot attempt onto some of his teammates, but these are the things you
I
really
appreciate
just
you,
have
bro,
to
for
watch
coming
out
in
for.
and
That's
watching
only
it with
their
us.
second elimination so far, and they're almost 600 above the damage threshold.
You guys see why Muzz and team were like, oh, wait a second. We're not going to get by this base.
Ain't that Sadie skin right
That's
there?
exactly what happens. They were looking to dive onto the next team they saw for sure.
But
Six
it's
Wilson
the
Kanata, though,
original version
113
of
damage
that
below the
that we
threshold.
like, right?
This is obviously one of the worst positions you could be in here. And they have a decision to make. They're going to go 5 splash down and then into the box here. So Aviv, Skittles, and Chimp are an option. And then you have Cooper's team down low. Ooh, Rhea, Cooper, Curly have to be counting their lucky stars because Bolt, Sphinx, and Kanata are on the way, and they're hungry for an elimination here. They need damage. Nothing just yet.
This is not good. Sphinx goes down, eliminated. Active Storm Surge means you're not going to get knocked. And they're just falling further and further below, from a little bit over 100 to now 321 damage below the threshold. That's close to 2 full eliminations on the players. And it's something that you got to be careful for, because they don't have any extra heals, no shields, no HP. Luckily for them, they're able to look to the backside of the zone and trying to land some shots, but it bites them in the end. Aviv, Skittles, Chimp, they might have forgot about him, but they didn't forget about you. They turn on to Kanata, get that elimination, and force bolts into a mad scramble.
Tough spot to be in here now. And although he has to play defensive, you kind of can't, right? Like, you don't have the luxury, you don't have the time. There it is, things are active, sees a base, goes into it, Amplify cleans him up. That's gonna be the end. Team Kanata there. Cooper, Reed, and Curly take full advantage of the fight that they hear break off next door. Meanwhile, Muzz, Rise, and Jabco, no troubles in the world right now as they go for an early rotate to try to get to this zone. And I'm a little curious if this was the best way to go. There's a huge body of water. Team's already set up on this side. Just gonna have to watch it play out.
Just trying to heal up. I can sense them passing around that chug jug before this rotation just to top everybody off. Rise peeking through. And they got to be careful here, because like you said, they have to go over that open body of water. Now they're one of the last teams to rotate on over. And if anybody is going to be below Surge, they're definitely going to be looking back. And on the other side of that bridge, they're going to run into Clix. They're going to run into Yamzo and Higgs. And they're just putting pressure on every team that has to rotate through that water.
Jacob, I was asking myself, what team could it, like, who pulled the zone right there? Like, who's set up already on the other side? Big body of water to protect them. It's Clix, Yamzo, and Higgs with the prime positioning. Talk about key real estate right here. This is a perfect position to be in. Not only that, they have the natural elevation and the high ground up above them as well. This is where you want to be right now. Not too comfortable. You can see Clix just kind of staying on his toes right now. Replay coming in for Coldridge on Peterbot. Those, they're finding eliminations right now. Mind, those are points, right? Starting to rack up there.
Trying to close that gap. 6 points. It's not much now, but you definitely cannot let Peterbot, Cold, and Ritual continue to get
there is
more
a mad delay
as
on
each
that
game
screen.
passes. It's almost been the trend. 69 above, though, for the Major 1 champions. They've had
Unless
a
you
few
use OBS,
struggles in this game, but they're always figuring out a way to make it work. The zone cuts back just a little bit in their favor, and that gives them the option to look across 2-3 teams over there. That's going to be their target.
I wonder, you know what?
I was literally just saying, you
why
cannot let
who
them
don't
pick up these
somebody don't play
eliminations,
elite?
and there goes Peterbot getting another knock onto Cynics.
Your name's so with a
The
P.
end game is just starting right now, and they're at 5 elims. So talk about really hitting up what it matters. Zone's going to pull far east, though, giving up all that water. Straight into the landmass we go. See, most of the teams already have migrated here.
So there's no zero build tournaments.
Two trios
like
trailing behind for Peterbot, Ritual, and Cold. Trying to decide. It's going to be the first move for them right now. Big lobby pressure coming in off the Chimp, Skittles, and Aviv. Down low.
Peterbot aim is.
I think they figure a lot of these teams are going to have to rotate in their direction, and that's going to be the best chance that they got to try to catch some players off guard. Some damage able to sneak through, but not much. But this is the zone. Kelly really broke this down to start the day. They pulled it on the front side and immediately built up. Bugha, Threats, and Rapid. And they were the ones who closed out game number 6 with a victory royale. And so it's going to be interesting to see if they can actually close this one off. They're looking across and seeing who is actually going to try to make the play to contest them. Where this next zone pulls monster is going to be so pivotal on Threats, Rapid, and Bugha's next moves.
You can tell by Bugha's body language there. He is eyeing up Reed's base. They are a little too close for comfort.
When we see each other, there ain't no mercy.
Wouldn't put it past him to dive in, but look at this.
You gotta help each other.
They just can't get a break.
Oh, yeah,
Acorn will get eliminated in 14th before the real placement point starts to kick in and kind of add up. But it was a struggle of a game just to even get this far. Clix, Yamzo, Higgs, though, they have not stopped playing the perfect frontside low ground all weekend long, and they just continue to do so. Another top 10 is just moments away.
It is crazy.
You see the huge difference, though, in their inventory this time around. The Mythic Collateral AR, the extra splashes, they did make their way on over to that black market. to try to take use of their Lone Wolf POI. Peterbot looking to chop down high ground, but they got to be connected somewhere else. And that's the thing that they're going to look for.
Yep,
but instead, they run into Craze on the other side, but they're not backing down from any challenge, especially now since they know they're going to have to rotate. And you see them looking through the wall, eyeing that team before they rotate on out. Just trying to be very, very precise about their rotation, and they even change LAers during this next pool. Then now they're looking up. Peterbot knows if they want high ground, now would be the time to try to take it.
Yeah, they wanted to chop it down, but it's connected to the steam stack there. He didn't see or notice the fact that it is just going to
I wish they would get
set
going
up,
too.
but Clixiamzo Higgs under the Gold Rush splash effect here, continuing to rotate. It seems like they pull a little bit of a favorable zone on the low ground as
I
well.
wonder why he don't, why they didn't wear his skin.
Bugha threats and Rapid managed to re-secure the base here, so all that material count doesn't go to waste, but Peterbot doesn't care. He's had enough of high ground shooting down. He's starting to eye up Bugha.
I gotta figure out which one
He
is
used that
mine.
kneecapper so well to retake high ground.
Oh, did he? Where you
And
see
then the
that
full
at?
commit jumps to the front side of zone. Threats is there to back him up. Bugha, Rapid, come on in. It's an all-out fight inside the box. Threats gets put down though. Peterbot is showing up once
I don't
again.
know what
This time
Peterbot
he wants
hit
to
him
win
with.
though.
Yeah, he took that high ground by force, and you saw
that-
when they
that's
all
gonna
jumped
hit-
over.
that's gonna hit every
Threats
time,
Rapid.
man.
It's like they jumped in different directions. Threats was just left by himself in the Lion's Den, getting eaten every chance that he gets, and now the game has just changed. A huge threat is going to be on the high ground. Cold, Peterbot, and Ritual. They didn't get the win that they wanted in game number 1. They got the gap closed by Clixiamzo and Higgs, and now it's their time to reopen that spread.
What's most important is that they stay alive right now. Everyone has to stay up. Ritual, though, takes a huge amount of damage right now. Someone ends up contesting them for high ground.
Oh, no.
And Ritual falls first. It's Cooper, and it's Reed who's here now showing up as well. But look at the fight. He's showing Vert show up, too, for a little bit of high ground. Everyone wants
Look
a
at
piece of it, but
Peterbot.
Peterbot's
Look at
had
his
enough.
movement.
Once again, he's here to fight back.
How is he
Taki
moving
thought it was
like
safe, he
that,
thought it was
bro?
easy,
No,
but
Cold.
sidelined by Pete. Cold goes down, Ritual as well. Peterbot able to get a knock
Oh,
on the
look at
one, but he
Cold.
knows he can't clean it up just yet. Vert's still down below, but he's getting boxed off backside of zone. Peterbot still has the siphon available when that elimination finally gets cleaned up, so he has all the time in the world here to look back at the Vert and figure out what he's going to do, and he has no chance to contest this high ground. Still a good amount of builds left
You
for
said low
Peter as
ground
well
win?
as a solo.
Why you feel
Only
like low
team
ground
trio
win?
up is Clix's trio on the low ground. Look at how many eliminations they have managed to secure here. They are running away
Clix
with
whole
things
team
now.
is still
But
in the
Peterbot
thing.
is still in this game, still looking to earn
You
points.
think
They're
Peterbot
looking to
can
keep
take on?
that gap from
he
opening
can
up
take on
any
all three of
further.
them?
He's already at a total of 11 Elans with the trio here. He finds Donnie as well, still finding more, and then finds Vert, making sure that he's securing the points here. He
How is
says
he
you may
moving?
be
Ooh.
winning the war on the low ground, but I'm here to
no.
take it all.
He just
Hold up.
missed
Peterbot
his.
finds
Oh.
Higgs, and now the Cypher's starting to cook in. Another shot out the Clix, and he is
Come
still
on, Clix.
going
I
right
need you
now.
to-
One thing's for certain, he's going to keep the pressure up and make it nice and close, but in the end, Clixiamzo and Higgs secure the dub.
And it just leaves me asking one question. Were those eliminations that game from Ritual, Cold, and
get it,
Peterbot enough to make that 11-point difference from the
Hey, y'all,
victory
tap those-
royale
listen,
mean
tap those
absolutely
hearts for me,
nothing?
y'all.
This is what we wanted. The entertainment. This is Cinema Monster.
Bro, I can keep up.
It's crazy because it doesn't matter if you win the game, if you're letting Peterbot's trio earn all of those extra points. He's just taking away the padding that you could have otherwise secured, but you have to give so much credit to Clixiamzo and Higgs. Just a perfect, they are playing absolutely perfect
Question, do
front
they
side,
play with a
low
lot of
ground
their
end games right
subscribers
now, and they're
members?
cleaning
I just
up
have to
house. Iamzo with the final shot there to win the victory royale. Clix, Higgs, and Iamzo do it once again for game number 8, Zeke.
Jacob PR, hold me. This is cinema. I cannot believe. Okay, Kelly, was there a moment where you believed Peterbot was gonna 1v3? Was there a moment
Yeah.
where you thought,
Yes.
oh,
I didn't
no,
think
are
he
we
was
about to
gonna
get
win it,
1v3?
though.
It's okay, Clix.
I knew he was gonna
Look,
1v3,
it's me and
but I didn't
you.
think he was gonna win.
It's me and you. They got themselves a victory royale. That's what I like to see, but man, that was a very scary game. Peterbot went wild, but obviously I love to see from Clix, Iamzo, and Higgs that they were really kind of
But I think
leading the
Clix-
charge as they
He the hot
do
thing
on the
right now,
low
you know what
ground,
I'm
right?
saying?
And while everything else is
He wasn't
happening, you're
gonna
like,
let
hey,
that
just
happen.
stick to the plan. I know it sounds like a bunch of stuff's happening, and we could go for those eliminations. Let's just go for the win instead.
I mean,
I
and they
love
did
their,
it to a T, like what we've seen them do time and time again. Around zone 9, they're kind of playing in the back a little bit. They had so many more splashes than what we've seen them, and they utilize that. We can understand why that's such an important part of their strategy. And getting those splashes, you get a little bit of a speed boost. You are able to control the front ground. And then while all the chaos is happening on the high ground, Vivid, and that was definitely the most chaotic high ground we have had this finals for North America, well, low ground just kind of gets free elims.
It's so awesome. We're just so entertained, right? We're all just staring at a higher ground, right? We got Peterbot Trail up there taking the higher ground, defending the higher ground. We're like, holy moly, who's gonna win this game? And then we look down. Monster makes the call. There's only one full trio alive. It's Clix's trio. They're putting on a clinic on the low ground for the observers. It was like pick your poison, right? No matter who you picked right there, we were gonna be entertained. Not very often, right, where we watch one of the most entertaining parts of the game happening up on the high ground, and there's just so much going on the low ground. But what an incredible game from Clix, Yamzo, and Higgs, just taking full advantage of it. And this is what I was mentioning, right? They are not faltering at all. Does not matter what's going on, right? If your trio's going down on the high ground, they're going to be popping off on the lower ground every single game. They have figured not only this meta out, but this finals out, and it shows every single ever since they started yesterday in game.
Oh, they played the hell out that match. I don't care what nobody says. Clix played the hell out that match. That low ground, like you said, that low ground. Now that I think about it, that low ground got him.
They're playing
Got him.
so good.
Helped them out.
This is insane. And just to think, I'm gonna go ahead and spoil it right now, okay? Because of that game, there is a 3 points difference between Ritual,
That's
Clix,
crazy.
Higgs, and Yamzo. But who's in first place? We'll find out after this break. Don't you go anywhere.
A ads per viewers if you're not a sub. Dang. That's wild, bro. Well, look at how he was shooting that man out there. What in the world, bro? Yeah, Chaos gotta lock in though, for real, bro. If I can get me, him, and TJ, and me just get up to par where Chaos and TJ is, I think we can do the shit. Excuse me, like YouTube, you know. So this week I'm gonna start an hour a day, just my building skill. Hour and a half a day. I'm gonna go in there. Because I know it's one Monday, it's one tomorrow, a solo club tomorrow, ain't it? You know, I'm definitely saying I ain't been playing ranking. I'm gonna have to go play.
Welcome back to the
I ain't being
FNCS. I
funny.
cannot believe it,
but Clix, Yams,
This
and
is
Higgs
a little
got
more
themselves yet
exciting than
another victory royale. However, for a moment, it looked like Peterbot was going to 1v3 them. Guys, I'm going to
Hold on,
say
let
it.
me
I'm
ask you
so
this question.
sorry. The mental
Can
game,
you,
Peterbot's in my head, okay?
can you
Mentally,
play
I
on-
thought,
what
oh no,
if I'm playing on EU
Peterbot
service
might
and
just
I'm in the United
1v3
States?
Clix,
Can I play on
Yams, and
EU
Higgs here
service?
because they were just on a tear. And like,
Can someone from the US play on
Peterbot
EU
gets going.
server
It's so unbelievably difficult
and play in
to
their
stop
tournament?
It's really funny. Anytime Peterbot does poorly in a game, you can almost expect the
Gotcha.
following game to be just absolute
But you gotta
nonstop
live in that
W-king
region
from
too,
him.
right?
And I love that. It's something that we've seen from Peterbot now for the last year, where he needs to
Peterbot
prove
just-
himself if he doesn't have the perfect game. And this was very close to being the perfect game. An incredible height take from Peterbot, Cold, and Ritual, where it almost didn't really pan out, but they went back forward again, able to control high ground, even when Vert went for this bar for bar 1v1 against Peterbot, which is quite the feat to do.
Yeah, I mean, it was just an incredible game. And, you know, me, Zeke, Kelly, we're sitting here, we're getting ready to kind of
You gotta
come
push with
back
the
to
team
the
in
show.
this.
You know, we hear in our ears, yeah, hey, we, you know, Peterbot stuff's ready, highlights ready. It's like over a minute long. We're like, wait, what? And we're like, yeah, we also kept it
But
short.
if I'm
We're
not
like,
as
wait,
strong
what?
as you, right?
Incredible stuff. It's just
gotta- the
not
in-game
enough
leader gotta be
time
the
to
one to make the right
truly
decision and call for the
understand
whole team,
how
right?
good Peterbot really is. And I give a big shout out to Jacob Wazzo, right? Because we're like
And
watching
Peterbot
this, and as
playing
soon as
it-
the
he's playing
Eamon
his butt
comes in
off,
on
though.
Higgs, Jacob goes, oh no. He's like fully prepared for the 1v3 to happen.
3
But that being
points
said, that
away.
Peterbot
That's
solo clutch right there somehow holds on
The
to
Clixers
first
rise.
place by just
That's
3
crazy.
points.
just the most ridiculous run, right? I mean, again, this was Peterbot as a solo. That's almost more dangerous when he's by himself. Like, I
makes
can't
sense
even
for
believe
that.
those words are coming out of my mouth,
Oh, I do.
and yet it happened. Kelly, I mean, he's just crazy.
I mean, you look to the global championships and you have game 11 there, where Peterbot eliminated like 8 players in 2 minutes. And I think actually in Major 1, he did the same thing, potentially in game 11 as well. Peterbot is known as this insane player going for these solo clutches in the end game. And Zeke, you keep saying, oh, I thought he was going to go for the 1v3. Peterbot essentially went for the 1v5 and eliminated 3 players. He got Donnie, he got Vert, and then he got Higgs. It is, no one else can do it like Peterbot. So even if he's not winning, who cares, because he's able to get so many elims.
Yeah, I mean, it's just incredible stuff.
Now, Peterbot,
I mean, we could talk about our
his
top
team is in the
trios
league.
for the rest of
He's
the day.
over
We could just stop the
Clix by
competition right now.
3
We'll probably talk about them forever. We do have
Welcome
some other
in, 7
trios who are,
viewers. I see y'all
of
coming
course,
through. Thank
playing
y'all so
very,
much for
very
joining
well.
Today
We got
we're watching
Braids,
the
Visuals,
FNCS.
and a Menace.
That
They
might
are
be the
still
only thing
holding
we do
on
today
to
on live.
3rd place right now. Pick up, you know, another good game. Still continuing that trend. Zeke of only having 1 game outside of the top 10.
I just
This game,
gotta
we're gonna pick
figure
up
out how to
7th place with
edit
5 eliminations.
those-
So
my
staying
editing gotta get
consistent
better,
in
too.
terms of that. But I mean, you know, our top 2 contenders, Kelly, they're running away with it, but it's very, very close. Towards like 3rd through 6th right now.
Of course, and that's what we're looking for, right? Braids, Visuals, and Minished making their way to the global championships over some of our bigger teams, the Big 7. I mean, if you look at our leaderboard right now, it is what players consider the Big 7, but if you replace Visuals, Braids, and Diminished with Kanata, Bolts, and Sphinx, however, they're not stopping yet either. They are still in our top 10. And Zeke, we have 4 more games to go. It already feels like the end of the tournament because so much has happened, but we're barely halfway through.
Even just look, Kelly, like, look at those numbers. How many of those are zeros, as in those players haven't moved? And how many of them are going 1 point up or down? This competition is so close. Like, yeah, of course, obviously we're trying to tell this nice little story, and then Clix and Peterbot over here just like blowing stuff up. We're like, okay, I guess we have to look at that too. Like, the competition is close with 4 more games left to go. Let's jump back on that battle bus. MDF, Jacob PR, take it away.
Oh, you
Yeah,
got
look,
4 more
no
games,
doubt.
y'all.
I mean, we're going through a roller coaster of emotions. I feel like I've
technical
exhausted
3
the
more after
pipes
this
here.
one.
I mean, we still have 4 games in front of us, and it's looking like every game is a fight for the championship right now, Jacob.
Yeah, and it's looking like it could be some of the most important games of Fortnite you will
Oh, yeah,
play
Clix
this
gotta
year.
co-
3
yeah,
spots for the
that's-
global
his team gotta
championship,
do it.
and it gets
I think-
exponentially
I
harder
think
with
they're gonna
only
take
2
it.
spots
I think
in
they're gonna
Major
take
3.
it.
So honestly, it's now or never for some of these teams at the
I
top of
think
the
this might
leaderboard.
be the turning match
Well,
for
one
them.
thing's exciting right now. It's that 3-point gap up at the top. You know, Peterbot making sure that Clix has to stay on his toes. You don't know now when they just want to pull the trigger, or will Clix pull something out of this sleeve? Well, we're here to find out. Let's jump on this battle bus one more time.
Monster, when this game ends, the tournament will be 75% of the way over. And that's really where it's going to start to get interesting. 3 games left, not enough time to make up a point deficit. So I'm thinking there might be a potential. We saw Peterbot land on Clix. What about the other way around if the point lead over everybody else serves it?
That's exactly what I was starting to allude to with how Clix, Higgs, and Iamzo, or had the whole night to sleep on what all unfolded yesterday. You have to assume that they now too took that exact strategy into account, right? There might be a point in time where they say, you know what, before they can do us dirty, we probably should do them instead. So we'll just have to figure it out. And then I'm also thinking about, is 600 points enough to make it to global championship? Those are a lot of points. But then I start looking down at the standings. You know, it's only a game and a half difference. So this game 9, game 10 are absolutely critical to Clix making it to the global championship spot. Well, in the end, it is absolutely incredible Fortnite at play here. High action, high caliber Fortnite underway, and it just doesn't get any better.
No, it does not. And
Yeah,
you're
they
seeing
finna-
why every team, including Craze, Donnie, Joji, Yusuf, Yuji, and Phenom on the Shining Span Bridge.
Yeah.
Yesterday, most of the game, we saw him kind of going all out, 50-50, drop on one of the floor loots and quickly go to work. This time around, both games, they're choosing to try to disengage, play it out. They might not get all the loot that they want off of their spawn, but at least they got a shot to try to get more points, move up the leaderboard, try to get in that top 25 where you can actually make some money.
I respect it. You know, like last game they did something similar, but you know, at the end of the day, they were in about 16th place. So when they survived the drop and they kind of play things out, they were just working their way up, chipping their way up. They jumped up to 14th now, so they're kind of in the running for getting closer and closer to the top 10, which I kind of have to appreciate. What do you think about Peterbot, Ritual, and Cold here, though, playing for the medallion, it seems like, here at the train?
Yeah, business as usual for them. But you see the 2 arrows off on the side, 2 different bases already built. That's the trio, Visual, Braids, and Aminish. This is how they get a lot of their early game surge.
TJ,
And obviously after
ain't
Peterbot
this,
secures the lead that he
dangerous right
wants,
here for
quickly
them to
turns
fight for
around,
this?
tries to accumulate a little bit of surge on his own. But because of how long it actually takes to get the boss down, to get the
See,
medallion,
somebody already shooting.
usually there's a lot of shots like that coming from the other side.
I just
I was
said it.
gonna
Emma.
say, it seems like they were getting a little too close for comfort there. I thought for a moment we're gonna see Visuals and Minish and Brace just dive in on the 2, but it seems like they know better than to take that risk. What is happening here from coned up to fighting back? Jaxie finds himself fighting out of a absolutely unwinnable situation for most, but all of a sudden he's looking at 1v3 right now. Siphon kicks in here. And he's right back in it. And the double
Ooh, that was nasty.
That was too smooth. But Noah plays, Chaos Gaming and Kaz are here to rain on his parade. Jaxie, unfortunately, won't be able to celebrate much longer. Look, he's at 6 elims. 2 team wipes and then sent back to the lobby. My gosh.
That last elimination was pretty tough, though. He slid. He was safe. So it was great for him to kind of pick that up. You said 6 eliminate. At least they got 24 points for this game. Could be the difference maker depending on where you're at on the leaderboard. And that's where Kaz is able to quickly break it. There was really no time for him to react. The full trio was already there. Jumping on top, closing off every possible escape scenario. As we jump aboard Clix, Iamzo, Higgs. Hey, much closer this time around than we have seen in some of previous games past. Clix is going to be the one leading the charge of trying to get that Storm Surge first. Iamzo, Higgs still looting up underneath the vault and all the surrounding land to try to get a lot of those extra heals up here in this base so that we can have a smooth game. Ooh.
They want to be absolutely sure to find Peterbot, Ritual, and Cold if they decide to try to sneak up on him. And this is why they're all kind of positioned up, like you mentioned, really closely to one another, but all with different angles, right? Looking for teams lurking, kind of sliding up on them.
you have to also take into account like those shots they just put onto Peterbot. You know they know, right? Like they're still at the lone wolf layer. So what are they thinking right now?
Probably just being
Welcome
very,
in,
very precise.
you-
And you kind of mix in a little bit of that last game, so they're just trying to get and see where a lot of these players are rotating to, mainly on over towards the black market. As Yamzo taking that other angle, looking towards the south, spotting out one of those towers in the distance, and immediately trying to go to work. And you're seeing in the minimap as well, marking a team up there in that last game as one of the first times we were able to see them access that black market underneath Magic Mosses. And it helped so much. You saw the collateral AR. They were able to get at least 4 different sets of splashes on top of it, something that weren't able to do at all in day one because of a lot of those north zones.
For Ishu Taki though, a bit box fight right here. Taki's already taken out. A lot of credit to this team that tried to play for high ground, try to put the dub up on the mark. Came up a little short, but gotta respect it nonetheless. And unfortunately, Ishu just forced to completely give us this entire situation up right now.
Yeah, it does look like Seek and Veer are still underneath. Might be a 3v2 situation, so a blessing that they came in to crash this party, because now that Solo is going to be able to get out and get a chance for the reboot, but Veer being pushed back. A lot of these are his builds. That's why you see Creon playing careful, and you see that they're the ones that made that quick jump on over to black market this time around. Mythic Collateral AR is just shredding through these builds. Big damage onto Veer. Another elimination cleaned up with ease, leaving Seek by himself in a 1v3 situation. And immediately they spot him
So
out.
that
Get him moved.
collateral
Those
was
audio
put in the
visuals being the
game to
difference
shred
maker
the
as they
builds.
get
Is that
wiped
what
out
that
of
was
this
for?
game.
That collateral AR so good when it comes down to keying in and keeping the pressure going like that. Peterbot, Cold, and Ritual
Okay,
though,
I see it. I
getting
see it.
right back into the fighting action here. And what's so interesting is that they're fighting the team that Clix's trio was just eyeing up for surge tags here. And it makes you wonder if they are hunting right now, kind of on the warpath of Peterbot's team, just trying to see if they can find them out, bait them in, wait for them at the edge of Storm, right? This is very intentional right now.
Yeah, especially since I mentioned them being able to access the black market on the side of Clix and his trio. Zone is pulling towards the south, so this would be one of those scenarios with the Storm Surge they got early on in the game. They can backtrack, but now you just got Peterbot in your path. A 3-point lead, and he's not straying away from these risky plays and these big moves of rotating towards the north and trying to cut off that whole team. But there is going to be one player, that last Solo, still in the minimap down below. You see him just above Lone Wolf Layer, just south of what Peterbot's initially at. And it does look like because of that third party, he is going to be able to stay alive.
Yeah, this is some significant, you know, tactics at play right now. Like, you're watching them almost literally trying to position themselves to get into a fight with Peterbot come the mid game. We'll be keeping eyes on it. How Clix and Peterbot, the gap continues, but for Phenom, Eulogy, and Yusuf, fight breaking out kind of inside the Storm right now against Shadow, Tyler, and Curve. You know, up until now, we've seen also Kanata's team here, but not quite just yet. And as we just mentioned, we knew they were trying to get in on to Clix's trio. Who would have thought they'd push all the way up? Of course, after taking the rotate through the porta body, now a full fight's breaking out. Peterbot hurt though. Yamzo is here to fight. No time to choke now though. This is for the championship essentially right here.
Yeah, this would give either one of these teams, assuming they finish at least in the top 3, a big lead going into the last 3 games of the day. Peterbot, Cold, Ritual choosing to disengage. Zone pulling all the way towards the south. They say, hey, we're just going to go ahead and go back on over towards our black market, our crime city for now. We'll meet you later inside of the zone, because now both of these teams know which outfit their opponents are wearing. But Clix getting some good damage on somebody trying to move through that porta potty, forcing the remaining 2 players to just wait and expend a lot of their materials.
I was gonna say it's so important that they pressure right now to really make sure they set back Peterbot's trio as much as possible. But you gotta give them a lot of credit defending off Peterbot's team, coming in fully healthy, mind you, with all the resources, right? Peterbot's trying to pull the same type of tactic they did yesterday. just put Clix off of the ball game, right? Push them off their Surge strats, reset them, make them kind of fall into mid game when Surge gets active. But this time they were prepared, and it seems like, I don't know, man, maybe they pulled the trick out a little too soon yesterday.
I almost feel like, and you're an OG, you've been around much longer than I have. Is this one of the first times we're seeing a team really just take control as much as Peterbot is going for these early game fights? I mean, rightfully so, Peterbot does want to win. They have such a huge lead over third, fourth, fifth, everybody else down below that leaderboard. So maybe he already has his global championship spot, almost guaranteed top 2. It's worth the risk for them, especially since this one is personal almost between Peterbot and Clix. And this is bragging rights. This is more than just that.
Yeah, Jacob, look, I've casted 25 FNCS finals. There has never been a team to do what you're watching right now in an active online tournament, like in this way, right? Really trying to make sure that they position themselves to be the front runners, and then finding someone so close to them, deviating the strategy to say, you know what, we have to adjust. Like, this is what we've always wanted to see from high-level Fortnite, and it's great to see Peterbot and his trio kind of take the lead there, right? So all credits to Ritual and Cold, because there aren't many teams that would do this. And of course, the GOATs, Vino and Queezer, were the ones that kind of kicked this off, right? Showing that this is possible. You can make these type of iconic plays. You can almost cement yourself in Fortnite history as legends if you do this type of stuff. And I think they're leading by example right now. So this is the first time we've seen it here on NA, and I think online in general in this type of way.
It's just incredible. All these years later, records still being broken, history still being made, and entertainment at its finest. We're the true victors out of all of this that is going down around the lobby, as Higgs in the feed does get elimination onto the tick. You see rapid threats in Bugha. A little bit of a slower pace for them this time around. Just outside of that qualification spots, but the points are so close. All it takes is one good game to change the course of their own history.
We're watching the FNCS today, bro.
This time around, everybody having to rotate in from the north. Foxy Floodgate is going to be the most north POI as of now. As we check out how Higgs was actually able to pick up that elimination, just sneaking up on a couple of players. And as I said, zone moving towards the south, which gives a lot of freedom to Clix and Yam to move back on over to that black market and seeing if there's anything left from Creon, Tony, and Noisy.
They've been doing that.
I was going to say, you got to think about how, because Ritual and Cold were there, they kind of cut off the black market for a little bit.
Yep.
Likely looking at Clix's performance and saying, hey, what's changed from the days before, right? It's the fact that they have had access to this black market. We talked about how significant that is. Look, there's other teams kind of here still waiting about, so they're not out of the woods just yet.
Oh man, they're getting
confident. But yeah, watching
above.
This FNCS, bro,
they're knocking on some doors, trying to take some cones, eliminate some options just in case this fight does progress longer than they'd expect. But great shots coming out of Yamzo yet again, opening up the fight, slowing down at least one of those players. But Vert landing some good damage onto Clix. Both teams trying to tunnel around, build some extra space. That way they can try to make that move, but it's the low ground right now that is on a little bit of a disadvantage, so they need to figure out a way to make a play as Clix just gets hounded yet again. Dropped down to about 75 HP, looking for a way to survive.
Forced to pop a second med miss here now, so this is really starting to come down to the wire as far as the zone pressure is concerned. It's going to come down to Higgs and Yamzo. We've seen a lot of clutch plays from them throughout the weekend. Really have never seen a better Clix and Yamzo. They seem to be in peak form. Clix here, still on the back foot right now. 51 damage put off right there. He's going to win that trade. The edit was there, but unfortunately the tag couldn't follow up in time, and this low ground, I was going to say, really difficult to play off of. It seems like the zone gets the knock for Yamzo, and that's going to be the go side.
I'm not, bro. I'm watching.
Here they come with the kneecappers are out. Taki's there, but no! The pre-fire shotgun onto Clix takes him down. Higgs loses shield here. It's going to be up to Vert to come through, and Vert actually finishes off Clix. Think about what this is going to do for the damage as well. This is an extremely big elimination right now, and a time waste. And Maniac was just here. This reboot might not even be up. Oh, it is.
This is just crazy because you said it yourself. What does that do to the damage? Remember, early on, it was Clix the one on top of Lone Wolf Flare in their base, getting a lot of that damage while his teammates were the ones looting up, getting the gold. We'll see how it turns out for him, but Cold is down as well. Monster. 6 games today, and already it's been toe-to-toe, back and forth between the top two trios. And again, we're in a dire situation. Even though they are going to get that revive off and the elimination cleaned up for the Siphon, it still puts them in a spot to where now they have to follow backs into zone, and they're so far back.
Can I just say how smart that was? They left it down body until they picked up Cole, so the Siphon kicks back in for Cole. Like, the little things that happen at extreme high level Fortnite is what
Look
makes
how
me love
fast they
this game
going.
so much at a competitive level.
I don't
and
understand.
look, they are back like they never left.
That splash.
They are just not looking to make any mistakes. This is
So you
incredible
gotta
stuff.
have those splashes.
Those little differences really mean much, because now they don't have to use a med mist, they don't have to use a med kit, no bandages, no worries there, at least not for now. And again, I always say this, they're looting their POI, yet
Bro,
again, they don't
moving.
even necessarily drop there and loot the whole thing. That's from time to time you see extra teams come in, try to grab the scraps. As he dips his toes into the water, the gold splash water that runs through Crime City. Get the extra speed boost, faster farming speed,
Peter
and that's
got
where
on
he's going to be maxed
Zendaya.
up on materials in no time. And not too far away from where the zone is pulling now. And this is where you're seeing a lot of teams utilize that gold splash water, just dipping their feet in. They get the speed boost, they get this pickaxe speed boost. And then if they do have that kneecapper, then they're definitely going to close the distance to these.
I mean, at this point, I'm more concerned if like storm sickness is going to kick in. Like, they are playing deep in the storm right now. We still got a lot of, Fortnite to go. The North is still kind of playing the zone right now, so very favorable short rotate for them. Might force them to tank a little bit more than usual.
Did they get Clix back?
I'm just trying to keep all the options, open at the moment. But Shadow, Tyler, and Curve right now on the move here, playing this kind of high ground, trying
Hey,
to
Snooki.
see if they can have a position here. But Noah's already set up. Visuals and Minish are there. Take a look at the highlight from Adrian's Acorn and Pollo on the eastern side of the
That's
map.
live earlier than I was
This is
supposed to,
what
Snooki,
happened
but I got
last
you
game that set
when I
them
go
back this
go back
time.
live later.
They don't lose Pollo, so they're going to be able to maintain their damage, kind of carry this momentum into this end game right now.
We
Another
watching the
mountain in play here
FNCS.
as well,
We
so
watching Clix and Peterbot play.
seems to be a repeating pattern.
CW, I
Almost
know, bro,
everybody
and I
on this
appreciate
edge
you
crossing their
being here.
fingers right now, saying,
You
please
back
come to us
today? I
on the
appreciate
eastern
you.
side. Don't pull up that mountain. Don't
Yes,
give
I'm
us
just
a max
watching.
pull.
Okay, I
Guess
said I
what?
thought you was
Fortnite
playing.
doesn't really care
we just
how your
watching.
fingers are crossed or what you're wanting. We're just going to give a max pull anyway. Agers, Pollo, and Acorn. This is something they've been feeling almost all weekend long. And the difference
Who's
is
that
exactly what you
Polo?
said. They were able to
He cool.
pick up
He
those
been-
eliminations.
I've
They
been watching
didn't
him
go
too.
down,
He
not
cool, too.
rebooted. So this time around, with a similar rotation as last game, I expect them to be
Bro,
very,
there's no way
very
he can see
much
that person
higher
that
when it
far
comes to that
across
storm
that map,
surge.
right there.
Sitting in the storm right now, tanking for position here. Jacko, Muzz, and Rise could be setting themselves up for another victory royale here. We've seen when they kind of get these types of zones and they get this high ground positioning early, they've turned them into top threes, second places, and victory royales. Do keep in mind, this is a 2-tick zone right now, so again,
we
a
just
lot
relaxing
of
today.
tanking right now. Ritual, Peterbot, and Cole still tanking as well. If they just look over that way, they might actually be able to take them out the sky for a moment there. Seems like a fight's breaking out.
And as of this game starting, they're only 69 points away
okay,
from
I
that
said,
top
huh?
4, which would be a qualifier spot because of Ritual, Cold, and Peterbot in first place. So they know these last 4
I forgot what I
games
said, but
are going to be some of the most important Fortnite they're going to
Oh,
play,
I said, how
especially
was your
during
day
this
today?
major. Peterbot, Cold, Ritual. They're able to get that mountaintop just south of their actual POI. They're 1,100 damage above the surge, and they're looking toward the back. That player is in zone. They get the knock, the tick, and that was a player that already got
I said,
rebooted
oh,
in
okay.
this
I said,
game.
what
Down
you
again he goes.
I was going to say, we saw him hiding before by himself.
Corn
Seems
and
like
peas, sweet peas
he
together.
just couldn't catch a break.
Then I just mashed potato.
Those are some important points right there. And look at that. He's just going to go for the material. So Peterbot opting to jump down. Big upgrades here as well, potentially. All in all, a pretty great elimination for him.
Yeah, and they knew it was
TJ, there
relatively
go
safe
that,
because
there
they
go that
traveled
head.
from that side of the zone where, no, it was closed. Nobody was really there without sacrificing damage. One other team might have been Muzz, Rise, and Yapko on the other side, but a little bit of a far pull for them. But since they're so high up, they could look down at teams like Bugha, Rapid, and Threats, figure out where they're rotating, and either mirror that rotation or just simply use their builds against them. But they are going to
cutting
beat
them off.
off Bugha. Rapid threats. Yep, they're cutting them off down the side of that mountain. So not only are they going to get position inside of the zone, they're going to get priority over every other team.
Yeah, one thing we're noticing, it's almost like Peterbot, Cold, and Ritual now are playing as if every team they're encountering is Clix's trio. They're trying to put themselves in position to directly gatekeep out all the northern teams. They are looking for the fight right now.
These folks are everywhere.
I want to say same thing could be said for Kanata Bolts
They
and Sphinx, but
everywhere.
I mean, they're
SNO,
fighting
okay, I said it was all
all
right.
weekend long.
Went
The
to
most
church.
distance traveled
Then
in the
chilled
tournament.
for the
They're
most part.
137 above the
Played
threshold. One of these
Fortnite.
zones coming towards the
It
south.
was decent.
They got a little bit of
How
priority
was your
position.
day?
They got to be careful from the left side where they're
Similar.
kind of blocked off. But
I was
other
able
than
to
that,
watch,
they're able to kind of take advantage. A
Worship
lot of these
Online
teams
today.
stuck below inside Canyons Crossing. There's
Got
a
my quick
huge
worship in.
elevation differential, and they have to climb that mountain in order to get in the safe zone.
Cooked dinner, played a few Fortnite
Take a look
matches,
at
and now
98
and
above here for
watch,
both Sphinx and Kanata, so not out of the woods just yet. They need to stay
FNCS
active
today.
right here, find
And
one
then
of
now we're
these
watching North America.
teams and just kind of break open.
So it's been a chill day. Real
Fight.
chill day. And welcome in 7 viewers. Thank
Looking
you so
at
much.
things from the wide shot, Clixiamzo and Higgs find themselves below the surge. That's that damage that we talked about being kind of the setback for them here and now. I mean, not the worst team as far as being underneath, but they're right on the line there. Great tags for Clix to start making up for lost damage here. And it's come out, put him right inside the zone. Med miss already being utilized here.
Okay.
From Higgs'
What did
side,
you
they're
make?
also getting active there.
I did
Seems
the
like
pork
Rapid's
chops and
team's
stuff.
the one under fire.
I
Now
seasoned them.
pressure coming in.
You know, I
Ooh,
like
bar
my
zone
pork chops a
pull
little
for everyone
sweet,
on
have
the
a sweet-
lobby.
sweeter glaze on
Very
it.
few teams are going to be able to
And then I did
find themselves safely on the right
sweet
side of the
peas and
fence here.
corn, and then I did some
See a
mashed
good chunk
potatoes.
of
What
the
did
lobby
you
in
What
the
did you
mini-map,
have?
trying to make
today?
this rotation
I know
early.
you cook.
They don't want to get caught behind. It's going over into that kind of divot between Canyons Crossing and the Shogun's arena. So yes, getting down might be easy, but where this zone pulls up any one of these mountainsides, you have to start preparing a few zones ahead. Maybe conserve as many materials or find an elimination here like Pollo Angels and Acorn trying to do. 20 is going to be in their line of sights. Active surge on him as well, and it does look like he might be going down here in a moment. Can they take advantage of that? Either way, they don't want to because they know they don't want to get caught in the backside of the zone. And you see him even charge up the Haymaker, but on the other side, Higgs goes down, Clix and shambles. Iamzo no shields.
sounds good.
Even with 6 eliminations, this puts him in a dire spot.
Yeah, that looked like Bugha coming through with an armored vehicle. Like, I'm not sure what just happened.
SNO,
But Higgs
okay,
gets
I
sent
said it
flying.
twice, but
And
I
I was
was
just going to
really
say, this is one of the
craving
few
chili
times where
cheese beef
being
hot dog.
late
Come
on
on,
the
Clix.
rotate here will actually put you in the better position because it's coming off the top of the mountain. So Clixiamzo and Higgs, although they're a man down, they are in a much better position here overall. However, they've lost so
He
much
died.
material
When he
now.
died.
And look at the wide shot right here. Japco, Muzz, and Rise opting to continue to play for ultimate height. You can see this puts Clix's team kind of at the low ground. Peterbot right in the middle of the pack here, trying to potentially opt in to fight for height here shortly. Gonna be a Western
tough.
pool, Jacob.
Yeah, this is going to be tough too. Even though most of it is on even ground at the bottom, it does slightly move up the side of that mountain. So you really got to be careful. For Yapko, Rise, and Muzz, looking down, putting pressure will be the key here because
Was
even
that
though that might
after
not be
the
the team they're
fact
looking at
that,
now, but Peterbot, Cold, and Ritual are going to be just underneath
Click
them.
went down.
And instead of prioritizing a little bit of elevation, Peterbot is just trying to get ahead of this.
See, we didn't
trying to
see
look
it.
at it
We
later,
didn't
something
see
that we see them do time and time again. Exactly that. They have to be careful
I don't
because up
think we
above,
caught it
down
on
below,
camera.
pressure coming in from all angles. No choice as he quickly slides to a safe spot
They
down
do
below.
get him
I would
out.
be a liar right now, Monster, if I said that didn't make me nervous.
I thought it was over. I'm not gonna lie, but he
Is
was
he the
way
only one
faster
alive?
than I was on the reaction speeds
No.
there to go ahead and save himself and break the fall.
They might know that too.
Smart play to give up the height there. You saw how dangerous it was getting, but it's not looking
Oh,
good
they
right now for
not
Clix.
Clix.
And Iamzo clicks the kill here. Iamzo left to solo clutch this one out. Placement points are just starting to add up as well. We're in top 11 territory here, but there is so much action unfolding. Look at this. Peterbot finds another set of eliminations, and they're at 10 already with 24 players remaining in the game.
That was a full trio. They just wiped off the side of this mountain, and the zone's going to continue to pull further and further over. And they're going to go ahead and sacrifice the HP, trying to make a smooth rotation upward. Muzz, Rise, Yapko still up above.
he got
They need to
Click
figure
up.
out a way to target
Click got
down
up.
below. Down is going to be Iyamso still by himself. You set it down, no materials. He's trying to farm what little that he can, but there's still so many dangerous players in front of him, including the full trio towards the right, and he's going to take down Iyamso, Clix, and Higgs.
So he falls inside a top 10. This is really going to start opening up the placement points here for Peterbot. They already have the elimination lead, and this is where the gap will start to grow here. But first, they have to pop off. Ritual's going to fall. Peterbot gets crunched down to just 14 HP, and then taken out as well. Cold here does his best, but he gets sent back to the lobby. So scratch those placement points out of the way. The race continues to remain extremely close. Muzz eyeing up all that loot from Peterbot down low, but there's no room to jump down. Muzz, Japco, and Rise looking to be one of the few teams to pick up multiple victory royales here on the day. What an angle!
Who is this?
And there's the
Who is
refresh
this
he was
in
looking
this,
for. Really taking this
Lord
game into his
Krowski?
own accord here.
They've come close so many times this week, and this is the one they don't want to let slip through. But down below, another team they got to watch out for, Reed, Cooper, Curly, and they are just dominating everyone in their path. The full trio gets taken down, and now it's two trios and a solo that isn't going to last long because Kanata goes down. 3v3 situation. Muzz, Rise, Yapko up above. They have the elevation and the advantage, but everything gets chopped down, and now the battle's going to begin. A Haymaker is winding up right now with the kneecapper. He's trying to charge it up, waiting for somebody to peek out of that box and make a mistake.
He tries to free swing right there. Japco is absolutely ready. There it is. It's charged up, but he misses. Hits one, hits two.
And he missed
Cooper
that
still alive,
first.
though. We'll get the Siphon Muzz in a one-on-one against Reed here. How good can you be here? The jump
Oh
shot
my
off the side,
God.
and Muzz gets traded out. It's
Did
all
you
up to Curly.
see that
This is his moment to
shot?
show everyone what he has. What does it take here to be another winner? Can you take game 9 here?
Come on,
Curly
take it.
versus Rise.
I want them to
Things
take
are
it.
starting to heat up. The pressure is rising, and Curly hits the shot that matters most. A second victory royale now for himself here on the finals day.
If we were in person, Monster, I know
That
Curly
was-
Bobby be
that was-
pointing over
look
in
at all
that
that
direction and said,
bills,
you
bro.
guys could have had me. You guys could have had me on your team winning this game, but you chose to go with somebody else. And now it's a decision that'll go down as one they will regret.
Did you make
and that
those,
is a
Snooki?
big win for Curly,
What's up,
Cooper,
Josh?
and Reed, because remember, at one point or another, they were tied in that third, fourth place position. Well, there's not going to be a tie anymore.
It was so crazy. You know, for it to come down to the wire, you would have thought Japco, Rise, and Muzz was going to get that second victory royale. But unfortunately, Reed, Cooper, and Curly heat up and
Who's so
submit
loud, Josh?
themselves in the conversation here. They're like, wait
Do I
a
need to turn
second,
it down?
guys. We want that third place spot. We want to try to fight for first. And it was so
I know they said they
intense
were having
here.
issues earlier, so I turned
What
it down.
a way for this to go down. Look at that. Turn this thing around here. Curly hitting
Okay,
the
I'm gonna
shot,
turn it
and
down.
then
Thank you,
Rise,
Josh.
unfortunately,
Josh,
couldn't
take
find
down
his
Lil
tags there. There it is, the big victory royale
Is that
here
better?
for game number 9 for Reed, Coop, and Curly there, Zeke.
That has to be.
Josh said,
one
are
of
you
the
going
most
to play the game
disgusting
tonight?
shots I think I've
Yeah,
ever
I'm gonna
seen.
play tonight, but I probably
Jumping
won't.
down
I
that
probably
mountain
won't be on
midair
stream though.
And just one pumping.
I'm gonna
that
get in the
player.
lab tonight and just start working.
Yo,
Yeah.
that was crazy. Kelly, you should be doing a Zeke right now because Reed got a VR.
Well, you were just talking about that moment, and it was Muzz versus Reed, where Muzz jumped down and got the elimination onto Reed. But obviously, there's only so much you can do when it keeps coming down to these 1v1s. I love it, Vivid. I love that it's not just these 3v3s now. We're almost getting this kind of like masterclass of 1v1s in final moments. But obviously, big shout outs to Reed.
Y'all,
Cooper and
listen
Curly
her
grabbing
to her
another-
excitement
their
and her
victory
voice just watching
royale.
this.
I love to see
This
them
is cool.
jumping up the leaderboard finally. Actually, I'm excited to look at our leaderboard because they have been one of the only teams in our top 10 to not get a victory royale. So finally to see them come all together, controlling the low ground, especially when you have other low ground teams like Clix's trio or Muzz's trio who was on high ground. When they're everywhere else, you can kind of like navigate the story.
I chalked this game up to a Muzz, Yapko, and Rise win like hours ago. When I saw it, I was like, spawning back up the mountain. This
So,
is
Josh,
easy,
make sure
man.
you
I'm
on
not
so
even
you
gonna watch.
gonna help me
Hold on,
out.
Curly did what? in that end game, did Curly find a llama, by the way? Because we tuned into his POV and he had 60 builds. I mean, Rise has got to be like punching his desk right now. He's like, how does this guy still have builds? He stood no chance in that 1v1 because it felt like Curly had like infinite materials, could keep blocking him up.
They got 3 more. Well,
toting him
technically,
off.
it'll be this match and
At the
2
end
more
of it,
matches
Curly
after
finally
that,
hit
y'all.
final shot. He still had like 40 builds to work with. I don't know
Josh
where
said
Curly
how.
ended up finding so much wood from, but it definitely helped him in that one.
I said, make sure you on tonight.
Incredible game from Reed Cooper.
I'm
and
going
Curly.
in
Like I
build.
mentioned, I kind of chalked that
I'm
game up to a
1v1ing you.
must-win hours ago, right? It looked like it was so clear as day. I don't know how
You
they
get
managed to
1v1
move
tonight,
up the
Josh.
mountain, keep themselves in a
And I
healthy
don't want you to
position
take it
actually
easy
go ahead
either,
and win
bro.
that one. What a game from that trio.
We are just being fed some of the best Fortnite ever right now, and obviously the first 2 trios
Josh
who are
said
out in
okay.
the lead went down early. More on that in a moment, because first we go to a break. When we return, we'll let you know what happened. We'll see you real soon.
After I be. Bro, I don't like that skin right there. That skin right there. That one with the white long hair that look like the siren. She looks similar to the siren, but her dress is white right there.
Josh said, who do you think is winning?
It's definitely gonna. You know what? It's definitely gonna have to be between. I'm gonna say it might be Clix. Peterbot is, but this team that's been some of these little smaller teams coming up too, though. So I don't know who you think gonna win, Josh. Y'all will have 61 viewers to come through. Thank y'all so much, and thank you so much for the 5 that's still currently watching. I know this is a little different from what our streams are usually like.
Josh said Peter or Claw.
I'm just blown away.
Yeah,
Just
I'm
blown
with
away.
you.
We are halfway
I will put it
through
in the
game number 2.
opposite.
And
Opposite. I would
this
do
is just getting
Clix or either
crazier.
Peterbot.
No, Kelly, it is flown by because we are just getting some unbelievable moments here in major number 2. All right, so obviously, Reed Cooper, Curly, congratulations on your VR in game number 9. But as we bring up the standings,
Oh, TJ,
we still see
they took
2
off on.
Titans at the top fighting back and forth. One to reclaim his title, to take back his first place. Another to get their first.
They went up
win
on Clix now, bro.
as a champion. And it is so unbelievably close. I mean, guys, to see Peterbot and Clix be
You gotta
fighting
come with
this
it.
out. In that last game,
But Peterbot playing his ass off though,
10.
bro.
Peterbot fell 9th. The difference between the two of them, 5 eliminations. This is a nail biter, Kelly.
And what's even crazier is
So this is
discussion
another
kinda
thing.
started
My
early
question.
on in the game.
I gotta, we
Peterbot
gotta be
once
able
again
to
go to Lone Wolf
know how to
mode
open
onto
each other's
Clix's
box
trio.
at the right time. Is that
Fortunately,
correct?
though, it wasn't the wipe that could have potentially happened. Clix was able to kind of hold themselves
Uh-huh.
down. Peterbot's trio kind of backed off. And
'Cause ain't
for
that what
a
they
long
doing?
time there, I mean, Peterbot, Cold, and Ritual looked like they had this low ground to themselves, but so much chaos, especially when it's this mountain zone. There's only so much you can do to control the lobby when it's pulling this way. Even when you're Peterbot, there's only so much you can do, Vivid.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna go ahead and take the opportunity here to also shout
Who
out
got on that
Clix
skin
and
right there?
Yamza
That
because,
black
like
lady
Kelly
with them
mentioned,
locks.
there was a little bit of tension
Kids.
happening, right? Of course, the leaderboard is telling the story as well, but in game, these trios are meeting early
So
on.
it wasn't
in the
totally
games, and
his
I'm not gonna
fault.
lie, I like to highlight moments where these type of games impress me because Clix, Yamzo, and Higgs still break into the top 10. They have yet to place outside of the top 10, but this was, or no, sorry, that wasn't true. They placed outside, or they got 10th this game. But this was one of those games where it was like, I chalked it up early because after they got done with that engagement with Peterbot, Cold, and Ritual, I was like, oh,
Josh
they're,
went
like
with
20
Clix.
build, and then they went ahead and they
Peterbot
fought, like
Clix.
3v3, and then, you know, Clix had to get rebooted. They were late rotated into the
But shoot,
zone. I'm like, this is the game, right? This
SG
is the game where
King,
Peterbot actually establishes a lead over
they
there.
coming up,
But no,
though.
somehow they still put up a decent game, get 10th place, 6 eliminations, and then with Peterbot kind of going down in the same area, it still stays competitive on the leaderboard. Gotta tip my hat to Clix, Higgs, and Yamzo, because even in games where they don't seemingly have everything go perfect for them, right? The game plan doesn't work out, they're still able to adapt and put up decent points.
Dude, just when we pulled up those standings, I mean, again, we're just trying. When we pull up the standings, just look at that number on the left, right, and just see which way it's going up and down. Okay, the fact that Muzz, Yapko, and Rise are now starting to push out Agers, Acorn, and Pollo. Pollo has already qualified. If he jumps up into that top 3, now we're looking to move further down the standings. Peterbot's already qualified. There are so many head-to-heads happening across this lobby right now. I am just in awe of the community, of the players, how they are performing. Guys, this is peak. This is peak.
I'm in awe with
Where he
Muzz
come from?
going for that kind of mountainous zone height early on and then using that to kind of control high ground all the way until zone 12. We were talking about at the start of the show just how difficult that is, but when you're Muzz, Rise, and Yapko, it's not too difficult for you. However, what is difficult is that once that zone does slowly start pulling down the mountain, high ground only means so much. But again, I love that it like really came down to a
So do you
1v1
get, in
of
this
Muzz
case, do
versus
you try to
Rick,
get to
and
the
then a
low ground
1v1
quick as possible
of
in that
Curly
case?
versus Rise. There's just so much storytelling there.
When you
but
go down the
still,
hill
they
with the
are
storm like that?
just barely within that contention of making into the global championship.
try to get down low ground as quick as possible.
Yet. 3 more games to go.
Okay,
Zeke.
okay.
There's still so much.
See, I'm learning about, this is not how I
amazing.
play.
This is incredible.
But
We
now
hope
that
you
I'm
guys are all
seeing it
enjoying
and
what you're
understanding it,
watching, and just a shout
yeah.
out, there's a bunch of watch parties happening right now. Aussie Antics, Courage AD, Stable Ronaldo, Faxity.
My gameplay gonna
I
be
mean,
much
there's
different, bro.
Legends Landing is going crazy. We are all as one community coming together right now to watch this all happen. With 3 games left to go, let's jump back on that battle bus. MDF, Jacob PR, take it away.
I cannot tell you enough, Monster, how close this actually is. And it almost makes me wonder how nervous, how anxious are our competitors, because it has me at the edge of my seat going into these last 3 games.
Yeah, I've been keeping my eyes on the chat, keeping eyes on the community. Clix has said it out of his own mouth. He has had the shakes in certain scenarios. At least coming into game 9, he was really feeling the pressure. And you got to think about it. This is the first time he's had this much pressure. He hasn't had a 2nd place lead, almost 1st place like this. So here we have it. Let's jump in for another game. Game 10 of the Major 2 finals is here. One thing's for certain, we do not
TJ,
know how
is this
rounds
Clix
are gonna
first
play
time
out.
ever in the FNC, this far in
Let alone take the
FNCS,
victory
or no?
out come the end game. These games have been absolutely nail biters, and you could tell the tension is in the air between Peterbot versus Clix,
he
because
definitely-
Peterbot's team has been the most dynamic team we've ever seen in the history
What
of
is
Fortnite,
Skittles?
changing their strategy round after round and just trying to be the counter, the
What?
kryptonite to Clix's trio.
And why he got on the default skin?
Just taking matters into their own hands, literally.
Oh, that's a good
making
drop
sure
right there,
if
though.
We are going to lose this FNCS. It's going to come at a try, but what is this? Another contested fight. And I was going to say something, though, for a moment,
Already?
Monster. This has happened in Clix's history one time
Oh, that's
before.
crazy.
Venom coming all the way over from EU, teaming with
They-
Clix. They were at the top of the leaderboard a few majors ago after day number 1, and this exact thing happened. They started to get contested
said,
game after game.
why
but
is
Root
Higgs
stole
all the
away
way outside
game
that
after
building
game,
like
and
that?
already, it looked like it might have been just a momentary thing. Dukez said, you know what? We might have just went on to Clix's house. Let's just leave before security catches us.
Oh, they got out of
You have
there.
to keep in mind, Fallen, Nitro, and Jutras are the
Look,
current
Click and them going to look
33rd
for
place
him.
team.
That's
So
one of my-
them just spawning
Click-
here and taking a little bit of loot is
Click,
still
that's my boy right there.
extremely
Now, I know
significant
he's
to
my
Clix's
boy.
Alonzo's
Cause that
pacing
skin
of
he
their
got on
entire
right
game,
there,
Look
bro.
at how
That's one
different
of
they
my
have to play
favorites.
now. They're slower. They're looking around. They don't want to overcommit. These things are going
Yeah.
to affect their performance. So if it isn't
TJ,
one thing,
you
it's
should
the
have been in
other
one of
thing
them.
that
I
they
think
have to
four
keep an
more.
eye
Have
on.
you been in one of them before?
Just one of those things I feel like you have to figure
Well, we
out a way to
building one.
prepare
Are you finna get me?
the
You
best
finna
that
get
you
me
can.
right?
And you can see
And
they
then
knew
we-
they were contested right out of the gate, so they're not going straight for that storm surge strategy. So even though we know that full team has
I'm
already
cool with that.
disengaged
They
and
get
left,
it.
now with the scanner going down, they're going to get the information, and now they're behind.
I
their curve
think
a little
it's
bit when it comes to accumulating
two.
that damage. It's something that you've been talking about all weekend long. It's literally the little things.
Take an inch, they turn it into a mile. Peterbot, Ritual, and Cole seem to have their strategy going business as usual.
It's two more. I think it's two more.
Floodgates peeking on over.
You see that though? Look at Crime City. You see just a little purple arrow. That might
What's
just be that
pink?
solo.
Is that Jutras? Oh yeah. Oh,
Okay,
they're just
10 out of
showing
12.
up.
So two more
That's the
games.
team. That's Nitro from Jutras, Fallen's trio there. They say, hey, you know what? We want
I
to get
think
something
yeah,
for our broadcast.
Josh, if you
We're gonna land on
get
both
yourself
first, second.
together,
We'll keep it interesting
you
for
could
the
be a
calm, you know?
third.
Give 'em both a
But
little
you gonna
something.
definitely have to have a mic, and you definitely gonna have to have two
risky.
fake. What is
Especially
called?
since Cold is by himself.
Two
He's
F-
just
two
waiting
F-
for
Keisha
one of
said
those
two
chess,
more.
waiting for Cold to think it's fully uncontested because he's
Definitely
stuck
gonna have to have a
right here,
mic.
I
We gonna have to have
believe,
a
through the
voice
border
call,
body.
brother.
So this is gonna be one of those.
And you gonna have to have a
interesting
mic when we
situations.
play.
He might actually get away with an elimination right now. I'm not even gonna lie.
I said me and TJ putting us
Cole,
together a
right?
team.
Josh
You gonna
said
get me
hi.
right. I
This
said
is
you
literally
could be a
movie today
third,
because, you know,
but
in
shoot,
those
you
situations,
gonna
in the
you
moments
gonna have to have a
where
mic
it's just like, no,
to play
don't
in
go
the
in there.
FNCS when we start
monster's in
playing all
there.
these
Right now,
tournaments.
Cold sees him. Now it's a chance.
gonna have
As
to
you
start
see
using the
every
mic.
single green arrow on the outside. Both Ritual and Peterbot have turned around, and
tournaments,
this is
period.
where it's going to get.
You gonna have to have a
dangerous for
mic,
New
you gonna have to
Nitro as
have,
a solo, 'cause now
2 FA.
The entire wolf pack is going to converge.
It-
Wait,
Josh,
you
are
gotta
you too
think about it.
young
The
to
same
have 2
story
FA?
applies here
Is
for
that what's
Peterbot,
going
Ritual,
on?
and Cold. If they're
Tell the
getting,
truth.
Again, pushed off of their usual strategy, this is time lost on farming damage. Now, Nitro did throw the bag. He had a chance to take down Cold, but he got caught in the street, and now he's off to the races. And he's
Why
Josh
don't-
said, bro, no, I
But
don't
can't
know my
you just-
password.
But can't you just create a whole new account?
Cole's probably gonna flex on him with a pickaxe. I wouldn't doubt it. Nope, he doesn't want to put the risk out.
Or you can do reset password though, bro. But once
Now,
again,
it almost makes you feel like
if
in the
you
back
wanna
of
be
their
a
mind, they found
third,
one. They
you gonna have to get
obviously
those
don't
stuff
know
fixed,
that
and you gonna have to
Duo
talk
is
to
just
us.
nowhere in sight. Well, speak of them, Fallen and Jutras, this is them. Almost
Josh
on the other
said
side of the
I
world,
did.
north of Crime City.
We'll
in
figure it
another
out.
1v3 situation, and that's
Ooh,
Cap
2
that
a.m.
just gets
Fallen
the
just
elimination onto
died.
Fallen. Jutras now by himself, and it just almost looks like that strat to split up to surprise first and second
should just
place
let
might
Clix
not
get
work
the
out for
point.
them, but he's not going down without a fight up until then, where they get wiped off that.
Because
And
they
now,
know they've been
one less
landing
game
there,
for
right?
them to play.
Everybody gets their shot in the sun here today on the broadcast. Lures amplifying Shiny though, going toe to
Josh
toe
said
now
I
against
have the same
Looks to be
email
Jacko,
onto
Rise,
accounts. That's why
kinda
so it
sneaking
keeps
on in here from
changing
the
the
side,
other
trying to get a
one.
little bit of a
We'll have to figure it out.
action, hearing the shots going down here.
Because are you trying to play competitive, or you just want to keep beating up on people that are not good?
Like
You
this
let
slow
me know.
play this time around.
You just let me know.
Aviv, Skittles, and Chimp
Are you just trying to go in pubs and beat up on them folks, or are you trying to get in some,
And they are
get some
actually
money,
able to get
make
this
some money?
armored vehicle this time around, so it's not just the overabundance of loot. It's exactly this situation with the
I ain't
zone
being
going
funny
further
either.
and
I ain't
further
being
towards
mean.
the
Josh
east.
said
It's gonna
if
allow
they
them
remove Victory
to
Cup.
safely or relatively safely rotate with that
But
armored
we can
vehicle
start off with
straight in the
cash
zone
cups.
much faster than some of these other teams that might have to use some of their resources to make that same rotation.
By the way, was I tripping out last game? Did I see an armored vehicle come flying off the hill? Like I couldn't tell. Still thinking about how Higgs went down. Like I'm pretty sure Bugha had an armored vehicle somehow. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Why? See,
Higgs
I
and Yamcha,
can't
Clix,
stand
moved out of the
Fortnite.
Lone Wolf layer. They're
Why
not
do
looking to sit around.
Fortnite? Why did they put
They're
this
trying to
sleep
keep
stuff
their
on when you
strategy
watching a tournament?
moving along. Notice
Oh, you can
every
you can
game,
turn that
I'd say
off.
the last 9
Josh said
games,
Victory
basically,
Cups
they
is
kinda
easy
stood
money.
Stood there, stay right at the draw spot. Last game they were forced
So
to
we'll
look
get it
into
a
the
cash
zone
cup
because,
then.
you know, Peterbot's trio rotating in, so now they're looking to play for a little bit more key position.
So what?
Josh
What are
said,
you
but they
saying,
removed it.
All
Josh?
new
Are
for
you
them right
saying
now.
you trying to be our third? Is
Yeah,
that what
just
you saying?
interesting, you know, from yesterday,
If
staying at
you
Lone
saying
Wolf,
that, I'm
game
gonna give
one,
you a
being able to
deadline
access
to
that
have the
black
2
market,
FA
I thought it was
done,
gonna be a trend
and
that
you,
changes
we
in
gonna
their
have to
favor.
talk to you. We're
But
gonna
now
have
it
to play
looks
some
like they're just
games
kinda
with a mic.
hunting. And this could be
We can
partially
we
because
can
of
go to
storm
we
surge,
can
but on
use
the other
Discord
end, one of the
where
ways-
people
one of the
can't
key
hear you.
ways I feel like in
But
order to
me
take
and
down a trio like
TJ
Peterbot, Cold, and Ritual
and
is
a
keeping
few of my
up with
mods gonna have to
eliminations.
leave.
Josh said we
And
now
remember,
have
to close
2
the day out
FA.
yesterday, they didn't get any eliminations. They went down early, almost a 0-point game. So now you're looking at them.
You go.
How do you close the gap against a team that is so
Well, then-
consistent and so aggressive? Well, this is one
What-
of those ways that I'm looking at.
But I'm confused, Josh.
Well, Clix has
Why
got
don't you
the
just go
information
create a new
downloaded.
account and play with a new
Sees
account?
what
I
this
will
team's
buy
up
your
to.
first 3
Tracking them almost
skins
perfectly
for
as
your
they
new account.
Start to build their fortress here. They're looking to set up the ambush right now. Likely waiting for just one little edit reset to come through so they can go ahead and take advantage of the weak wall. And they find it's the weak wall's a little bit of wood and they box him up.
Put it.
But his player
Come on,
manages
Click.
to
Get this. Get this. Get
barely
this. Get
get
this.
away, but not for long. Here
He
comes
hit
the
one of
pressure.
them.
This is where Click shines.
Just said I
Obviously,
forgot how to make a new account.
boss fight type scenarios.
Josh, never mind you.
Yeah,
get that.
Just said hello.
Not letting the builds kind of replenish here. He's got a
Josh, I'm
great
through
little
with you.
angle
Don't worry
going on
about
here.
it. You ain't trying to.
Look, there's another
You just
team
want to beat up on
pushing in
easy people
extremely
in
fast as the fight's
pub
breaking up
lobby.
right now.
That's
We
cool.
have to wrap this up quickly.
We'll find us a
And maybe
third.
Josh
We
Josh
always
said,
do.
but I have to get
And
level
Cause are starting to float their
350.
way in, and they're already there, right on top of all this action up
Gotta get
above,
level
trying to sneak away some
350.
shots. Even with elimination in down, they're not able to clean it up just yet. It's gotten a little bit more risky on the other side. It's a 2v1 situation, and Click showing no fear, just putting a good amount of damage onto both of those
He
players. Knowing that he
did.
does have
Was
backup.
wow,
Higgs and
bro.
Yamzo have now entered the fray, but both of those
Josh said,
eliminations
LOL, I
get
play scrims.
stolen away, and it's not just the loot, it's the points.
They lost the points as well, and then the body must have been picked up. That is so unfortunate. And then look at who's here. Taki, Ishu,
Oh, he
and
just
Burden.
got
That's
off.
a good trio. We saw how they managed to really fend off Clix just in the last game. All of a sudden coming through, little ambush opener onto Yamza, but Yamza too fast on the draw there, ends up kind of escaping. So Higgs, Yamza, Clix have another chance now to find a fresh set of eliminations, but they're not really happy with the way this is all unfolding. So that's 12 points that just slipped through their fingertips.
And then you add in the amount of builds they expended, the resources that they've used, and they weren't really able to get any of that back. And now they're almost stuck in this position. One team on one side, another one on the other. But they're still doing a good job of making sure that nobody can advance their position. Nobody can start to build confidence. But there's another one off the side of the mountain.
TJ, do you see
Third
that
shot
team
Tyler
to come
might
off the
have to
side of the
break
mountain?
soon, especially if they disengage into that direction.
Look, they ended up finding Polis there.
Bro.
Magnus trio. Now Higgs, Yamzo, Clix.
Because you playing with real, like all real teams. You
Seems
know
like
what I'm
they
saying?
just got the full finish. Trying to kind of break out this side angle.
What is
here.
that?
Not too sure whose builds these are. Higgs not trusting it at all. He's trying to see if there's still that one left. Where's that down player is what he's thinking about right here.
Ooh, another cheeky play. Throwing the thermites on the walls. Let it do the damage for you. That way, if anybody is sneaking or hiding around, it might take some time, but their position will be revealed. But that team already disengaged towards the north side. Back over towards Brutal.
His
Boxcars
Peterbot is
into
almost
tuning, but
dead?
Peterbot going down. Ritual once
Whoa.
again looking like he's going to save the day. and they're just
I said,
outside of
whoa. I
Crime
said,
City.
no. I
Cold
said, whoa.
is converging on that location as well. So even with Peterbot going down, it's not going to be too many worries for them because he's going to get right back on up.
You better get it back.
Got to give a lot of respect to Ritual, really keeping to his word, promising to improve his mechanics, improve his fighting capabilities. In this finals, he has really showed up and pulled out. Take a look, though. Peterbot gets into a little bit of a skirmish here and just loses an exchange against Aiden through the wall there. And that's how he ended up getting folded over. A little setback on damage, but not over just yet.
So when you die, it
Some
takes away
momentary
from your
setback for someone like
surge.
Peterbot, most damage in the game by far. As it's tuned into Cooper and Curly, no read. He's already down. Zone pulling on over towards the eastern side overall. And this is with those splashes. They're just going to try to disengage on out. They know Flooded Frog's uncontested, especially with the zone moving in the opposite direction. As long as they have that reboot card, it's going to be no worries for them to go ahead and try to get Reap back up. But there's a full trio behind them, chasing them down. Creon, Noisy, Tony. They don't want to let those two eliminations go for free because assuming they already got the one on Reap, they know they have the advantage here.
I was gonna say, I feel like we were due for a little bit of a scrappy game from some of our top performers, but I wouldn't have thought all three of our top three teams were gonna be
But TJ,
having a bit of a hard time here come game 10.
do you see how? And I'm just showing because you we watching this together. But do you see how y'all be moving though? Because you be moving like that too. I think I'm starting to move like that. Where you guys are pulling your guns out, being sure about the gun you want to switch to, and start shooting as you slide and stuff.
Big tags coming in, but the pressure starting to mount here. Cooper jumps to low ground. More tags from another trio. This is Hound's trio now looking inwards. Oh, things are not looking good right now for Cooper and Curly, who just came off the last game victory royale, but now all the way forced into a worse position, and they get finished. Collapsed on by the hands of Creon, Tony, and Noisy, while Cirque and Hellholm just watch in the distance.
That is just so terrible for Reed, Cooper, and Curly. And you look down that leaderboard, Visual Braids and Diminish. They're already in the conversation with the Global Championship bubble spot. But then you got Muzz, Yapko, Rise. That made it easier for them to catch up. Rapid, Bugha, and Threats, them as well, over the 400-point mark. And so now everybody else on that leaderboard within contention for that spot has just been granted a little bit of a miracle, but 26 teams still left alive. Don't start getting points until top 17, and then they start to cascade in with every team that does go down.
He rocking it. He is rocking the Widow skin, bro.
To get inside of the bubble. Clix, Higgs, and Yamzo rotating late out of their Lone Wolf lair. This time around, just like in game number 1, they're going to backtrack on over to that black market. They're assuming and hoping all of these teams have already rotated away out of this spot so they can have ease of access to the black market.
Yeah, their timing perfect too. The team is just moving out of it as they are showing up. Braids, Visuals, and Diminish. Kind of mixing it up here, taking a little bit more of a scenic route. Not in
DJ, would you fight like this and build like in this type of
position? Last game they found themselves, as one of the few kind of playing deep in the storm there, pushed by different trios and whatnot. This is another one of those moments.
You don't think it's built where
teams
you
find
can't
themselves in a
look at theirs though? Oh, theirs is
top prestigious podium finish for the first time in their careers, and sometimes again that pressure. You just
I don't like that skin he got on.
When you're in those moments, and this is their time now.
With Marley.
I kind of like the way you said that because you could practice in scrims. You can kind of practice, depending on how you look at the divisional cups, open.
Hold on, where's that third? Where's that third partner?
You can actually get for what it feels like to be in an FNCS major final.
He down there
with some of the best players in the region.
Why he in the storm though?
Some plays that you thought was easy that can take you from one round to the next may not necessarily work out here or be much harder to pull off.
Or would I be that person?
The zone is pulling further and further over towards Seaport, being a focal point of the
shit, I'm gonna be one I'm gonna be one to build. You know what I'm saying?
Not only to get their surge, but
I ain't just learning how to build.
Multiple bases around this side of the map.
Okay.
Yeah, just think about it. Imagine queuing into the game. Just thinking about what's on the line, right? $100,000 global championship spot. It's not easy. You're gonna be feeling the nerves, undoubtedly.
Did you see he went and got a lot of shields?
Ooh, good tags here for threats as he kind of sets things up. Seems to be pretty content with the situation he's got going on. He's going to double back here.
Bro,
now.
like this is just genius. They have farmed the whole.
Yeah, with the zone closing up, pulling
Bro.
over. They're probably just trying to converge in one spot, one building. Make it a little bit less risky for any team to get a knock and push over for the elimination. But
That-
still
that
fighting
was-
deep in the zone.
You
north
remember that
side of the
skin
map.
right there, right here,
Taki,
bro?
Isha,
We
Vert
watching
versus
from the
Noah,
season.
Kazis, and Chaos Gaming.
Hey,
And Taki has a huge chunk
Leah.
of shields
That's
missing. That's
what
where they're going
I
to convert,
want.
drop the water sprite, the
Yeah.
gold splash, get the HP and shield back
Bro,
on up.
was
And
I
now they
playing
have
with you
that-
then?
That swing speed has increased, and they're just trying to break their way down, get as much control as possible. Noah and Chaos looking like they're playing a little bit defensive here for my liking. Crouching down, trying to hide the visual audios and try to sneak a play or a big shot on Ataki, Isho, and Vert, who absolutely need this fight. You see they're 200
So it's ticking for 20.
below the damage threshold.
Respect Taki just taking a little minute to farm up some mats there. Just desperate here. The fight's starting to go the distance, but they lose Ishu. They just don't have time. They don't have time to let this zone close right now. They really need to end this fight.
Or did he do that to get that 50 up?
Punishment
50
starting
off.
to come in here. Still, they've yet to find the tag that they're looking for. The slow play, the defensive play from Kazis. Noah plays in Chaos Gaming starting to rack up here now.
Funny enough about this situation, if you look at like all the HP on that full trio down below, it still might not be enough to deal with the storm surge that they're going through now, especially in the next zone where that threshold will increase. So they're definitely on the clock, something that you mentioned. And that time is ticking very, very fast. 259, even though they got the piece up above. Kaz is the one that's getting the shots. He's able to get the knock on the Vert. They actually trade, but now Taki's put in a tough situation. He's trying to drop down, get the builds, whatever heals that he can, but it was not his siphon. So Taki, Isho, and Vert will go down. And Noah as well. Even with elimination onto Kaz's, this just got difficult for Chaos, Noah, and Kaz's.
Yeah, you saw the points being lost there.
Why he doing?
into
Why
the
they doing
surge.
towels?
Jumping in with
They just
Peter
knocked
Bot's
somebody
team here.
there.
They just caught an elimination off the Cyrus. They seem to just keep finding these cheeky free points here.
Did
on
he
the
pushing
edge
it?
of
He
the
pushing them,
storm.
man.
Just by being in the right position at the right time. This time it's Cyrus who falls. Just caught out, having a struggle of a rotate through the zone. And it's perfect too. Look, this is the way to the new zone as it just pulled north. So couldn't have been a better time for Peterbot's trio. But just as they're only 594 above, they're recognizing, hey, we're not out of the woods just yet.
PJ, and then
more
would you
work
play
to
on
do here.
keyboard or keyboard KBM or
And they're not in any realistic
Okay,
rush.
okay.
Because more times than not, we see them rotating into the zone. You already see one player, probably Ritual, already making his way on over on the train tracks, just trying to get as much information, the awareness of where these players are at, what type of sacrifice you're going to have to make if it is going to mean going into the zone. Which wouldn't be surprised me if they did, or if they just brute force their way onto the edge, joining a couple of those other teams on that side overall. Muzz, Rise, Yapko, 512 damage above the threshold. They're in a much more stacked side of the zone, where Peterbot would eventually have to rotate into if they did continue to go straight. And you're seeing the lay of the land. A lot of these teams and players on top of mountains, the edges, so that way they can have as much elevation as possible without investing too many materials.
Ooh. Clix, Higgs, and Yamzo finds a team up on the island here. The zone is going to end up
Ooh,
pulling
they're
out
gonna be
late. They have
ugly, bro.
a couple of options to go for right now. Teams rotating early, starting to get punished in here. It's Noisy and crew. Some good opportunity to farm some damage here and now.
I just got
You know what?
another thing I gotta work
They're
on,
gonna
bro.
be able to sit here for
is
a
my-
while if they wanted to,
just
and
keeping
just
my
farm
aim
every team for damage, really
straight.
set back these trios. Meanwhile, visuals, Braids, and Aminish get dropped down on by Muzz and Japko from the high ground there, and they get the finish and they slide on out, content with the refarm. Leftover material there. They pick up what they can, but Visuals and Braids are gonna have to play this one out as a duo now. So that third place spot, that comfort, starting to slip away here. Even though last game was a 5th place second, Recooper and Curly's win.
It's a reboot, man, but
catapults
they ain't
them
gonna
up
get
and over
it.
them by 40 points. And now it's going to be all the more difficult here as Ruz, Japco, and Rise, their 5th place team, are starting to, again, creep up on them. So this is direct competition here.
Yeah, just under about 60 or so points is the differential, and they're the ones that take them down and left them as a duo. It's Aegis Poyo in a very, very similar spot. No IGL this time around, but at least Acorn can still lend a helping hand. Even while watching on the sidelines, 445 damage.
See,
above
you
the
that's what
threshold.
you
You're
taught
seeing
me.
it around
Looking
the
up
lobby,
through
some
that,
faring much better than others. It's called
holding that
Ritual,
button,
Peterbot. And they're a team, no matter above or below, they don't really let them affect their nerves at all or really dictate the game plan unless they really have no choice. And they get a clean rotation towards the side, just under the island as well.
I can't believe Peterbot ran this skin he got on though.
They kind of swung
Oh no, he ain't got the
here.
ones with the
And notice
horns
this was
on.
not a good rotate for them. They were at all max cap material. They're about halfway through their reserves right now because they went early, and it's likely because Clix's trio was focusing them first, given that they were one of the few teams to rotate. And look, they all pulled a zone now, but hold up. Pause that story really quickly as Boyo, Acorn, Majors are finding themselves in absolute shambles territory here. Boyo, the last man standing here for the trio, trying to keep his essential 5th place position alive right now, but how much can he do as he's got a maximum draw pull halfway through the mats here, Jacob? This is not good.
Yeah, this is a nightmare. It's going to be tough. A good thing he does have the materials. He does have the gold splashes and a kneecapper, so he can close the distance in the blink of an eye. But a max pull, never easy for anybody, especially when you have a team just like this. Looking so far into the distance from atop of the Shogun's island. And they're down below Surge, 52. There's a lot of opportunity here with this next couple players trying to rotate in. But this is one of those positions where I see you'd think, because it's so elevated above everybody else on the map, that you can get a lot of Surge, but more times than not, I see teams struggle to pick up the damage they need from up there.
A lot harder than it looks. Boyo, 562 above, thinking if he needs to fight his way through this one. Opts not to. Player there on the rotate, though, is going to slow him down. Another one in
Josh said I can put the ball, let's go.
Pieces him before he even realizes what happens, but the trio's there to back him up. He still has a couple splashes to work with.
Josh, you lied.
He has to chug it out, but it's only 10.
Josh
Nah,
said
you
I
think
clicked
it's
the
2 more
wrong
games.
family.
And Boyo's gonna
You think it's 2 more games, bro.
In game number
Welcome
10,
in 7 viewers. I see
Josh
you
said
coming
Gmail.
Clix and Niamzo only have a
Josh said he got 2
elimination.
FA now, bro.
So once again, they have a lot of ground to make up for, but first they have to get to the zone. This
So
is
when
where
we
they
gonna hear
play
your
best,
voice
so
now,
front
Josh?
side, low ground, early rotates. They know how to do this. They're met with Kanada's resistance on the other side of the wall here.
TJ.
Yeah, they need to do exactly that.
Okay.
Being a little bit more proactive in getting those eliminations, because there's 6 eliminations on the other side. That is not the way to catch up, by being a little bit too slow to the punch. Sometimes you just have
this
to
circle.
take that
This
risk.
is what's
Skittles are doing
scary
the
to
same
this.
thing
I
up
think
above,
this
but
is
he goes
now.
down for it.
What I would have to
Rituals
get over,
Brave still trying
TJ,
to
is
hold on
this
to their
right
bubble
here.
spot in terms of the global
Trying to
championship,
play
but they're
like
61
this.
below the damage
Yes.
threshold. They know not only do they have to rotate, so many other teams do.
But you know
as
what? We
well,
had
and
some
there's
close
the shot
matches
that they
today,
need
though,
on to
didn't
beat
we?
on. They're going to be above the damage threshold, but not by much. They're still going to be thinking about it in the back of their
You
mind.
just gotta make the
especially
right
after they continue
decision.
this rotation.
Because your decision got to be
Ritual still
quick.
looking around
You
for
know
any
what I'm saying?
opportunities, but they built a lot of space, so when a team like this tries to jump in the box, they send them right back home.
I was gonna say, if they would have gotten that elim, those would have been the mats that they've been desperately looking for. They haven't been able to find that refresh, even though they secured a couple eliminations. But Hayes is on the other side here. He might be the first target. Pick up here. The knock comes through, and another team's there. It's Shadow Curve and Tyler, who snipe away the mats that they are trying to secure. Gold splashes come out. Meanwhile, on the low ground, Clix is on the move. But Peterbot, Cold, and Ritual are recognizing danger is approaching.
Yep, they're looking up right now. They're seeing high ground team trying to jump across. That's Muzz, that's Rise and Yapko, but Muzz was the one trying to go ahead to the front side of the zone and reconnect them to make sure they're fortified. But we know what happens here. The same old song and dance. The gold splash is out. Peterbot is looking up, trying to put down pressure. Good damage onto Muzz. The confidence is building here for Peterbot and Cold, but it's only momentary because they don't have any material.
They going
This is a challenge
crazy.
that they want to take but can't.
They're already committed. I mean, at this point, they have to finish the job.
Bro.
Cold, Ritual are playing the side angles here while Peterbot's kind of front manning it, but they're out of mats. They're forced to box up collectively, and High Ground barely has anything either. So they're almost playing directly into their hands right now.
This
The zone's gonna bounce
right
back, though. It's gonna be
here.
perfect for Muzz's trio, as this is what they were looking like.
Oh,
puts it
Peterbot,
on.
that
I
was
know. He said 7
nasty.
mats. That's all I need to go up and take this high ground from you. And Japko gets melted.
That is just insane yet again, but we still have
Look at
Higgs
Higgs.
and Yamzo down below, the space that they created.
you see
They're trying
Higgs
to make
just
it work,
then?
but Higgs, he looks like he got lost into the fray, trying to reunite. The splashes are coming out, doing what they can to keep him alive. Yamzo is here, trying to take space, but they don't have build monster, so it's all or nothing, and Bugha goes down. They find a key elimination and a refresh that's keeping them going.
And Higgs is still going too. He gets another knock off to Tyler. Yamzo now by himself, fully healthy. Tyler,
Josh sent
knocked in
JJ.
the box next door. The comms come through. Yamzo's thinking about going for it. He sees the med miss. He sees what's happening. The zone's bouncing back to him. He's got a couple of options here. Another team in the bush in front of him.
Did somebody just eliminate
Peter
Peterbot?
them as well, but waits for the opportunity. But no, the timing was late, but it doesn't matter. Cole gets set down by Yamzo, and now he is
Oh my
inside the top
god.
five.
Look what just
That was cool.
happened,
That was
bro.
ritual.
And another one there too.
Peter
Bro,
Buck
this
down
dude
as
right
well.
here.
These are the difference-making
Emzo
points
is
here.
going
The eliminations,
crazy.
The placement, but now he's in a tough situation. 3v2 v1 situation here. Yamzo, if he could just get one more elimination, one more placements, they can put him within reach of that top spot, but it's curved, trying to heal off, backside of zone, but he's making a quick dash to the front. Into Yamzo he goes. Haymaker to the outside of the zone. He gets the elimination. Yamzo is second, but it's Donnie, it's Joji, it's
That was
Craze,
crazy.
Thieves in the night.
That was
They
a
steal away
crazy
the game.
finish.
They may have won the game, but the eyes are on the prize for Zoe, who just went crazy in the end game there alongside Higgs. What a game 10 that was, keeping it so interesting, and it makes you look at the bigger picture. Muzz, Rise, Jacko, one of the only teams we're seeing on the North American region unafraid of going for height, really keeping it so interesting for us there. And then Peterbot consistently willing to kind of contend it as well. Donnie, Crazy, and Joji couldn't have had better timing though as they go up. And look, they didn't even have anything. They were down to scraps, and they find themselves a huge victory royale there, Zeke, in game number 10.
Bro, I'm gonna pass out. Okay. No, we'll talk. We have to talk about Yamzo after the break. Right now, we got to give it Joji, Donnie, Craze, game number 10, the victory royale. At the end of the day, right, we're still playing for prize money. For them to just go ahead and pick up this VR, we've got momentum. We just have to carry
Josh
that
said,
momentum
bro,
forward,
I
Kelly.
can't log in.
Do
It
that.
says
We're
code
playing
is
for
invalid or
life-changing
expired.
amounts
Like what?
of money.
Yeah, unfortunately, we weren't watching too much of them in the end game there because
Whatchamacallit,
so
I
much
can't even
was
think of the
happening, but I love that
team.
we get a second look right here, and it actually looks like they were able to hold high ground.
EO,
Obviously, Muzz's trio
MZO,
did
he,
get
uh,
there, so only
he
holding
was
high
one of
ground
the
for
last three.
a few
Josh
He
said,
killed
do
the
you know how to
third,
fix it
and
for
then
Donnie,
I think
Craze, a
Chronicle
duo going
came
up
and
against
killed
two
him.
solos. Eamzo
Chronic.
just putting on such a clinic for the low ground solo
Yep,
clutch.
sure
But
did.
again, once
Sure
more,
did.
Joji, Donnie, Craze, congratulations on your first
Listen.
victory royale of the
Keisha said,
tournament.
do you have an authenticator app?
Thank you, Karate Keisha.
Crazy, right? 'Cause, like once these kind of games happen, we sometimes we forget these teams can get 100 points very, very quickly, right? So I know Zeke was kind of calling out, hey, listen, playing for prize money.
Yo.
Yeah, for sure, right? Jump yourself
They
up
are
a couple
going
of
crazy.
spots, but a couple more games like that, you could potentially maybe
Hey,
squeeze
use
in
the
one of those qualified
use the
spots. I don't know,
Google
probably too hard.
Authenticator app.
Wishful thinking,
You
right
need
there.
it for
Yeah,
2FA.
but
You
gotta
can use that
imagine
for
to
2FA.
get that victory hour. Remember, they
bro.
had to have stolen high ground from Peterbot's trio at some point, which is just so interesting.
That, oh my
Great win
god,
from this trio.
this got my head swimming,
I mean,
bro.
to
Because
jump up
it's
now
just
with
so
the
much,
345
like so
points, they're
much
jumping
movement.
up into 11th place. Top 10 is where we want to be. That's where the money swings start to get crazier and crazier, right? So with 2 games left, they could find themselves, like you're saying, maybe even higher on the standings. For now, that we're going to
Josh
go break.
said,
When we
okay, let me
return,
try it.
So much to discuss. See you real soon.
DJ, I think we can do that. I need to listen, bro. You think I can be ready by May 10th? Hell no. Hell no. Look, hell no. That shit is wild. Oh yeah, I'm gonna. you make me see a vision. I'm gonna try to execute on it. So I'm determined. Shoot, karate. I had my wife over here watching it. Look how they be. Like, the way they be pushing people though. Not only what I'm working on now is when I push somebody, I just gotta make sure I make the right decision. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes, like I'll push and it be a good push, right? But I switch to the wrong gun. Or either I switch to a med. You know what I'm saying? I think I'm set like TJ. I want something set like TJ. I do my shotgun, my I noticed my shotgun and my SMG go, so I do a shotgun, SMG, then AR.
Josh said brew.
I think I have it that way, but okay. Here
Josh
recently,
said it won't let me log and it keeps saying something.
Here recently, hold on 1 second, Josh. Here recently, I haven't been carrying that SMG. So if I pick up, let's say if I pick something up, and this is, I'm now that we're talking through it, when I pick something up, it'll put something in that second spot. But remember, I'm only shooting 2 guns now. So now I need to move my SMG and my AR slots. You see what I'm saying? Y'all get what I'm saying?
The points are too close. The points are too close with 2 games left to go. In this last game, Clix, Iamzo, Pig. Iamzo left as a solo back against the wall.
Where your headset on your
the inventory has to make the play of his career to try and minimize these points, to try and make sure Peterbach, Hold, and Ritual don't pull away farther than they already are. And he does it. I cannot believe that Iamzo, as a solo, ended 2nd place with 8 eliminations.
I have to do it.
That's a heist.
See, you know
this is
what I'm
the
saying?
heist season. He just pulled off the biggest
While
heist.
we talking.
Honestly, I can believe it. I actually asked
He
Kench at
played.
the start of the finals this weekend to give me the damage numbers, but only for players from Zone 9 to 12.
He was clutch.
Iamzo, unsurprisingly, was number 1. When it comes down to these end games, when it comes down to duo or solo clutching, Iamzo is always the one that we see here on the low ground. Even when he gets down to just a sliver of health, Vivid, he has not stopped yet.
The name,
Josh, we got to figure out how to see what's going on with you, bro.
Hits those shotgun shots.
But the only way,
most important ones there.
The only way we're gonna be able to help you, bro, is you got to trust us.
Who could write it?
That means we got
you
got to send a screenshot or either come and talk to us on. Okay, you send it in Discord.
Just say, look on Discord.
One pump to go ahead and save the game. Kanata tries getting in my pockets too. One pump there as well. The clutch to keep us this close on the leaderboard, 16 points. What an absolute cinema masterclass by Iamzo right there. But we got to talk about it. Peterbach, Cold, and Ritual, 5th place, 9 eliminations, still racking up the eliminations on the leaderboard, right? 89 total eliminations. It's insane how many
There's an error processing the credential.
Oh yeah, and we knew that they were going to be elimination heavy, but something that I really appreciate from them and that you were appreciating as well, Vivid, is
I'm gonna be honest with you, Josh. I would just restart the account because you don't want them to lock you out your account.
Successful that can be.
So what if
another thing we noticed is that they had no build.
I would say create a new email.
Correct email and password.
For them to kind of
I would say create a new Epic account and play from it. Like I told you, you create a new Epic account. I buy you first skin.
Still seems to be a pretty positive turnaround.
The standings, bring them back. We got to tell more of this crazy story Remember,
I log in.
Peterbot, Cold Ritual.
I log in
Josh
on
said
my-
I log in my Xbox account on mobile.
We're looking at a top 4 finish to earn.
So is that not what you log in
three
Epic
spots for
on
the
on
Gold
the
Championships.
on the game?
Keep in mind though, Hoyo is not that far away right now.
Just
You need to tie your-
but not
He could look to
Fortnite.
strike.
You
And
need
I mean,
to
if we
see,
look
can
at
you
the
tie
point
your
from
Fortnite in
3rd
your
all the
Epic
way down to 10th, right?
Yeah, bro.
This is still possible. I would say like 9.
Bro,
All
I
right, let's be
still don't
realistic with
understand
Zeke. Sorry
why
about that, Zeke.
how
Ninth
Peterbot is
place to
that
3rd
far
place.
above
Anything
them.
can still happen. A single interaction, a single failed move, a single failed edit could mean a trio in
Josh
these top
said that
10
happened
could
to my
fall,
other
and then
account
everyone
too.
else will desperately be trying to claw their way up.
I don't see how-
standings.
I
It
don't
is
see
not
how
only
they are-
unbelievable. At the very top, we have this back and forth. Peterbot trying to reclaim from last major. He got a 2nd place. He wants the 1st place again. Clix trying to get that 1st championship title, right? But everywhere else, look how close this is, and there's still the Poyo factor. Poyo
Hold on,
can still
TJ.
make the strike, and then suddenly we're looking at a top 5, Kelly. My stress levels are through the roof.
Yeah, there is honestly just so many different stories that are going on right now. It's not just the story of who's going to get first. It's not just the story of can Clix finally win his victory royale. It's not, or his finals. It's not just the story of can Peterbot reclaim his former glory. There is so much going on here, and a team that we keep looking at time and time again. Rise, Muzz, and Yapko yet to punch their ticket to the global championships, but we all know
Makes sense.
that there's no way this trio
Hold on. I was looking at that name just then, right?
seen this weekend, their ability to hold high ground, their ability to
So,
take low ground, regardless of what position
Click,
they pivot, they always come out on top.
It's another one, not easy. What's the name?
Real quick before we jump into game number 11.
Then it was somebody on Peterbot's team that had the same first 3 letters. Are all? Yeah.
In 3rd, that blanket that they had kind of going into that game, saving them right there. They got
All of them know each other.
and hold on to that qual spot.
That's exactly the point, right? They can't. Something like that can't happen to any of these trios in the top 10. It is a time once again.
Huh.
2 games left to go. Jacob PR, MDF.
So they all probably friends.
This is
Not really.
at the top of my list for most entertaining FNCSs ever. Doesn't matter the region, monster. We
They
only
going
have
at it,
2
though, for real, for
games
real.
left of this tournament.
Yeah, look, the way that this story is unfolding right here, the race between Clix and Peterbot and their teams is absolutely incredible. I mean, last game, though, 33rd place team decided to kind of split their drop and give them something else to think about. So if Zeke is feeling the pressure...
Get your elbow off that heel.
Now, anything can happen as game number 11 kicks off. All right, game 11, Jacob. We're kicking
I'm
this
probably-
one off, bro. It is all or nothing now. This is the moment, Jacob.
Kyle's
where
word.
they have to kind of set the stage and set it up for themselves and ride this thing out to the very end.
Man, I
Oh,
know
what?
you accumulate points throughout these 12 games.
Oh, when I get done to this, I'm gonna end this. When we watch the last match, I'm gonna go take Braxton home, and then I'll probably come back and do Sea of Thieves introducing as a night game. We're gonna introduce Sea of Thieves tonight. I don't think I'm gonna play anything but Sea of Thieves tonight.
Could cost you a global championship spot with everybody all the way down to the top 10. And this is going to be a nail-biter finish, but they're contested again, and this time it's Fallen and his full trio.
But you are a. Don't worry, I'm gonna show the world how I died tomorrow in my video. Don't worry, I was gonna leave you alone. I really was gonna focus on Marvel tomorrow, but I'm gonna fix you, and I'm gonna show the world how you let me die. I'm gonna be like, you know what? Whatchamacallit finna do the best right now, bro.
Let's be honest, Clix's team has really worked hard to try to build. They've had to go
Yeah,
above and
that's
beyond
right.
just to start closing that gap, and they're only 10 points away.
That's right.
The thing that has me laughing right now is usually when a team contests them,
And then too, bro.
they leave the train to go elsewhere because they want to make sure they all stay alive. 3v1.
I don't think the one we have. I don't think they value. You see what I'm saying? For real, for real.
They're going to be able to grab that medallion.
Because they supposed, honestly, what I understood when I first signed up for that ish, right? I understood they were supposed to be marketing us as well. You see what I'm saying?
Got this team on lock. We're good right
But
here.
we haven't. We don't get that.
Together. Ritual comes back to just play
They
the
supposed to be driving people to us for us to make revenue.
I was just gonna say to get them.
That's the goal of an agency.
Collapse on this trio. Peterbot just getting straight to looking to fish for tags. Nothing available as of right now. So
I wish I could start one.
team that's left inside of Crime City might be the first that they jump on.
I would start one for
Footsteps of their Cole
YouTube.
again, landing a huge shot onto Fallen. New Nitro's there as well. 2v2.
But I don't think they call agency.
Become a 3v2 as soon as Peterbot makes his way on over, and he is there. Welcome him to
Talking about Ritual.
He's on attack mode. Cold, couple missed edits, so that's not going to slow him down, especially with the flank coming in from Fallen. Ritual is there to alleviate some of that pressure. Now it's a 3v1. And that might not be the best at math, but 3 is definitely better than 1, especially when they know exactly where Noob Nitro is at. Ritual this time is going to be one leading the charge.
That's right, and think about it. These are 8 points they're securing right now, so
He gone. He finna be gone.
pivotal moment right now for Cold, Peterbot, and Ritual as far as the overall tournament race is concerned.
Oh, he ain't making it in the track can?
Put right in the dumpster there, and just like that, that's 2
If he would have made it in the track can, they wouldn't have been able to get him, right? Is that one of them trash cans that wouldn't break?
doesn't really throw them off, right?
Damn.
Because they didn't go the distance. This is not a team that put up much resistance.
Did I post that? I didn't post that either, did I?
Team is probably feeling pretty good about
Damn. I gotta post that.
And a race this close that can
See, man, you got me messed up. I'm gonna have to post you tomorrow. I'm gonna post Marvel the next day, and then I'm gonna post the trash can scene. Yep.
There is a full team position up there. I think Taki, Isha, and Bert.
I do need. I can do that. I need to. That's. You know, I might not go. I don't.
Elevation, but that one's quickly going out the window, and now they're just getting chased down. They have the pressure. They chop Vert down back into
Okay.
his teammate's box. And now they're continuing to put down pressure with his elevation advantage. Shadows pushing up. I can expect him to try to steal away some of those pieces as he inches closer.
little exchange here. Shadow, Tyler, and Curve.
Gotcha. Makes sense.
Before they set up the collapse here. You know, Taki, Isha, and Vert, I was just going to say, this is no pushover trio. I think they're recognizing that, hey, wait a second, this team might be above average for what it's worth. Looking at the points earned on the day for Shadow, Tyler, and Curve. Overall,
Talking about the shadow person.
relatively competitive.
Why? Yeah. Why do he not have it?
With 9th place, I know we put so much focus in on some of the other trios.
He must be one of the better shooters too. Because did you see how he was watching that his back?
As they are in a race right now for a global championship spot, they're one of the few trios in that conversation.
Why he put on that bright ass skin?
Ooh, a pretty
Yeah.
significant setup happening right now. Reed Cooper and Curly have to be on edge here. Little do they know. They've gotten into a
Yeah,
lot
you're
of fights
right.
with Blooded Frogs, but never against Eams and
You
Bugha,
all right?
who have actually initiated the fight.
This is kind of dangerous for both of these teams. Clix, Yamzo, Higgs. If they go down here, you can almost guarantee they're not gonna
Look how he pushing here, bro. And how is he shooting in the air like that?
If they go down here, that means their global championship spot is on the line.
That's my other problem. I don't hit fire enough.
45-point difference between Muzz and that 3rd spot on the qualification spot. Only 64 points between Muzz and
Like I'm always scoping.
Oh, Cooper stepping up right now. Clix, Ianzo, and Higgs backing off after the ambush was unsuccessful. And I wonder if Cooper, Reed, and Curly are going to kind of pick up the fact that this is Clix's trio. Remember, they've gotten into a lot of fights here, right? Against teams not as notable. So their confidence...
Welcome in, some viewer.
Misreading the situation since...
No, they got one more match.
They're not going to take it personal. They're going to be content with the back and forth and kind of call it off for now. But a very close call as they rotate into another team. Wait a second. That could be bad for Clix's trio now.
Yeah, especially since they took damage on the way out as well. So they're already weak. Just like you said, rotating into another team as we jump on board Braids, visuals, and a minished 4th place when it comes to the overall leaderboard, which means they would grab...
Oh, no, you good, bro.
For the global championship, but 2 games left. They still need to close it out. And already you see 4 eliminations. And I was watching the feed. There's one way to get that mythic drum gun. There's one team you have to go through. which leads me to believe their Bucky, Okus, and Cam are down in some way, shape, or form, if not already back in the lobby.
Yeah, tough position to be in.
Welcome in, Diamond. How you doing?
On their heels here. As Dozier and his trio were the one that kind of caught them off guard there for a moment.
Bro,
But this is a full-on reset angle
right there. I don't like they.
right now.
Is it another team behind them?
Thinking about Visuals, Braids, and Diminish, though, those 4 elims puts them neck and neck with Reed Cooper and Curly now. So already they've kind of sealed the gap there.
How you doing today?
A tad bit, breaking themselves ever so slightly away from Muzzjack on Rise, or fighting for that position as well.
Okay, cool.
Global Championship is on the line here. Do keep in mind this major is going to be the largest as far as the qualification spots to globals are concerned. There are 3 spots in the air here for NA Central.
I'm good.
And this team is
We just watching
outside of that bubble. I believe
the tournament tonight.
7 points down
I got one more game,
from entering into that top
and then I'm
4.
gonna end the stream and go drop my son off home, and then I'm gonna
And that's the thing.
come
They were
back and
playing
scream
so well
Theo's
yesterday, so
Sea of Thieves.
consistent. Talk about out of all the
We're
games that
introducing
they
a new
had
game tonight.
yesterday, it was just kind of in and out. They were able to get some big eliminations. They closed the day off with something special, and then today is where they find themselves a little bit of trouble. 5th place, 6th place, and then it was that 16th place with no eliminations 2 games ago. They're only able to net 2 points for that placement, and that's what really stopped their trajectory from keeping themselves inside of that bubble.
Gotta stay in the conversation. Cooper, Reed, and Curly. See from their kind of loadout situation.
Yeah.
Recognition here on
Appreciate you
Cool's
stopping
side.
by.
A lot to be desired. Curly on the other side, definitely a lot better, so should be more than ample for this mid-game to come. Look, they're looking around. They're trying to see if there's any stragglers, any last-minute teams here, but not a player in sight. So much different kind of dynamic happening here.
Yeah, we were talking about throughout the day, you know, a team pushing over to another team or even changing their drop spot, what that does the course of the game. Now, what does that do with Clix, Yamzo, and Higgs pushing on over, not allowing them to get the surge for the teams that did have to rotate by from that northwest corner of the map. So that's a lost opportunity there for them. And see how they're going to be able to pick up the pace with the zone moving over in this direction. Agers, Acorn, Pollo, uncontested throughout the day. And they did pull off a victory royale, Monster. They did show that they have the potential to pop off, but even leading up to this major in the group stages, you saw a couple of struggles, and I thought things would have been figured out by then. But with 2 games left, they can still has a good chance to make a good amount of money. And I wouldn't say it's like life-changing for a team that's already won a major, but it's definitely going to allow them to take a good vacation.
Yep, and again, always pad the stats, right? Like, gotta keep the history looking tight. Everyone will hold it against you either way. Looking at the zone here, very reminiscent of the entire kind of weekend.
Just taking it one step further on the other side, not just a ramp up, curved it to the side. Making sure they get as many lines of sights as possible. We know no one's over there for now, but Pollo just waiting, making sure that nobody's going to pop off and get a position behind them in zone as they go to rotate in. Peterbot Cold Ritual still with those 2 eliminations from the early game, looting up what's left over from the black market. Just trying to grab some extra heals, some extra loot to take them farther. And with that gold, they're able to upgrade their shotgun loaded as well. From purple to gold, it's definitely going to hit harder.
Makes a huge difference there. Every little bit of advantage. Higgs, Yamza, and Clix, though, rotating into Japco, Muzz, and Rise right now, who, by the way, have had extremely key positioning this entire Day 2 tournament. Not a single time we've seen them out of position. This is the first time they're kind of not at a super prime location, but they have a several eliminations, so it seems like they've just gotten out of one.
Yeah, almost forced to slow pay things at the edge of that mountain. But they realize the team is up there, even with trading shots back and forth. They're just going to continue to move towards the north side, figure out a way in from there.
Did they find a solo? I think Clix's team might have just found a solo as they moved to the north there. Someone kind of lurking about here.
Oh, he's in
it's
the bush.
Chaos Gaming in the bush. Okay, it makes sense as to why they were kind of looking around.
They're all rotating through there too. Chaos is probably like nervous. No, don't see me. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. He's not even moving to make sure that they ran past him far enough. He's just going to wait until his audio visuals go away, cross his fingers. And it really kind of... How many heals does he have in his inventory? Because, you know, he has almost no choice but to go back into zone, maybe towards Lone Wolf Lair to try to get those reboots, if he even has the cards.
The Amzo, Clix, and Higgs, though, just trying to rotate right now. Meanwhile, Peterbot, Ritual, and Cold met with a lot of resistance here on the outer edge of zone. Where's the white heals, though? I'm asking myself here. Peterbot doesn't seem like they have any. They have to double back right now.
Ooh.
And they're in a race against the clock. Cold is also lit up. Meanwhile, Higgs, Clix, and Yamzo find a little bit of a break. A little bit of a moment here to find a elimination and some extra material to go the distance here for the mid-game.
And that Sentinel Pup upgrade for Higgs. He was walking around with an Infiltrator, which, yeah, can do some damage from far away.
TJ, you know what I wish?
Like this fights, you want to go ahead and get the Sentinel Pump, any variation.
I wish you could reform, like,
going down the last of the
build.
heals.
Wouldn't that be crazy?
This is where they got to be careful. With that elimination, they now have the option and flexibility to kind of bypass the black market altogether.
As I'm moving, right?
And you see two teams nearby as well.
There's no build.
So they really have just
But I can reform the build that's behind me and push forward.
on the other side from fight to fight. They got that first.
You see what I'm saying?
Now they almost have Josh boxed up. Either way, he's going to get knocked down. And that's going to be
I think that'll make it harder.
You see in the distance, just on one of those mountains just outside Foxy Floodgates, it was the solo player. He has to watch his teammate go
But
down.
you only can reform a certain amount.
To get him back into the game safely.
Peterbot, Cold, and
That'll be
Ritual,
fire, wouldn't it?
super dicey for a moment there.
But I wonder how would they plug the algorithm of reforming into already farming.
Way to keep it close. Well, as Jap going rise with 2 elims right now, but how did they pick them up? You might be wondering.
Ooh.
There it is.
Really just catching some solos, separated from each other, already weak, already hurt, with really nothing left to heal up. It's those little points. Now it's going to help them a little bit with their damage from Surge. Not much, because you know those players were weak. But you already see the split up right now. Rise is on the north side of Brutal Boxcars, trying to look, find some players on the whole north side of the map. Down below on the south side is going to be Muzz and Yapko. They have that mountain rage to look after, so it's not going to be easy damage for them.
Magic Moss is looking a little messy right now. Taki, Isho, and Vert, that trio right there. The scanner comes out. Who else do we have here? Vive and Chimp. Chimp just gets blasted by, I think it was Vert's trio on the low ground. It wasn't even Yamzo, Clix, or Higgs. If it was, they would have surely jumped on that. They're sizing up the competition. They're, I guess, noticing that this team's being a little passive. So out comes the splash. Up they go. The piece. Yamzo with the failed miss, but no biggie there. Chimp and Aviv are just trying to heal here. The information is through. They know this is a 2-man team. This is perfect for Yamzo, Clix, and Higgs, who need these points right now. No team around to chop them down either. I was a little concerned that Verstro might take advantage of it, but no, they're already gone for the rotate here.
Yeah, they went east and just really haven't looked back. They know how far some of these bones have been pulling, so they're trying to take advantage of that. As Chip tries to break his way in, he immediately gets taken out. Vive doing some damage, but it's really not going to be enough. Odds were truly stacked against him. Clix, Yamzo, and Higgs pick up their 4th elimination of the game. Almost 900 damage above the threshold, and another pile of claims their own.
Now this just sets them up even once again with Peterbot, Cold, and Ritual, for anyone keeping count of the elims there. Reed Cooper and Curly, after that close call, have now officially moved into kind of the pump power territory, but look at the zone popping once again down to the mountains. Man, yesterday was all Magic Mosses. Today, these mountains are just getting all types of love right now.
I just feel for Tati and Shelmbert. They were rotating to the east, thinking it was going to pull in that direction. You see them in pump power now, really unable to safely get out because they're contested. Reed Cooper Curly being proactive. They're trying to rotate quick because we saw where they went, staying extra long in flooded frogs, rotating towards the east. And as soon as the zone pulled, I feel like they were one of the first teams to move.
Gotta be quick to move here. Looks like Reed's Curly and Cooper's timing here was perfect, though. Get right into the mountain here. Not too much pressure from up top. Decay and Cynics is the trio set up there. Braids and Minish and Visuals for Elim, still riding the momentum of that huge early game that they had. And, you know, looking at Cynics, Polar, and Decay, the last couple of games have just fallen out of their favor, but they've had a couple of moments of greatness after yesterday's kickoff tournament. And coming into today, it just seems like their strategy is not quite connecting, but they are in the higher ground, so do keep that in mind. Clix, Eonzo, Higgs in another fight, though. What is happening here? Why did this one break out? Well, it seems like it was Chaos Gaming trying to play for some kind of cheeky storm rotate, but caught out here. Eonzo, Higgs, and Clix nearly sent back to the lobby, forced to use one of those very prestigious med miss. Now, think about it. They use these up early, then they can't use them to play frontside zone the way they enjoy doing. So this is going to be an important moment. And oh, no surprise, this is exactly where they last left Chaos Gaming, by the way. In this river bend around these bushes. So you must have just been moving. And look who's in the distance there, Jacob. It's Peterbot's trio on the edge, who's just now starting to rotate.
I just heard the pain of the entire lobby right now as the zone pulled over towards Brutal Boxcars. Luckily this time around, like I believe one of our zones yesterday, there's a lot of open space down the edge on the north side of the mountain overall where teams are going to be able to pick and choose, kind of cross their fingers. Hopefully it pulls north, east, or west and not south. Cold Peterbot and Ritual. They got themselves a little bit of an edge on the western side. No real elevation, but they're a team that, you know, whether if it's the 7th zone, 8th zone, 9th zone, if they want high ground, they're going to take it regardless of their material count. Especially, that's what last game proved us. And with everybody kind of stacking this western side of the zone and the south side of the zone, they do have a little bit of priority and comfort knowing that there's not too many teams that can challenge them on this edge.
But here's the thing, it's zones like this that if it pulls the wrong way, starts costing you all of your material. Sets you up for a bad end game. Peterbot, the only one that's still capped on this trio, so they're not too far behind here. And look at how Peterbot hunting for those weakened fresh builds. We had just saw Clix's trio make a move around here too. You can see they're positioned right in the
Where's she at?
here.
Yeah.
We're now desperately waiting for the zone to pop.
How are you looking at the item shop?
Yeah, 30 seconds. If you're above Surge, especially by like 359 like they are,
I can look at through the epic launchers too, right?
End up getting 3-2-1, focused by a full team. It's those little things, and that's why you're seeing them just try to gather as much information down below and not really a lot of opportunities.
Item shop.
Around the entirety of the lobby, or at least not.
Do you just type item shopping?
Probably just go box to box and try to fight their way in. But time has run out for this zone. Let's see where this next one is going to pull towards the south. Again, yeah, not too bad. There is some of the mountain range in there, but most of the
And the black and gold.
Yeah, Clix, Higgs, and Eonzo recognize they got to fight their way through Muzz's trio, so these shots are almost warning shots, trying to send them off to rotate, but Muzz, Rising Japco kind of sticking around right now. Meanwhile, what is happening over here? Reed, Curly, and Cooper have picked up 5 eliminations from when we last left off. A full team wipe onto Hayes' trio here, setting themselves up for a great positioned end game now as well, as they're one of the few teams leading the front side here. They're sitting right above Peterbot's team. Take a look at this quick replay here, Jacob. So much going on here.
You gotta imagine, I saw the little strike of Storm Surge. They were just below the threshold, getting ticked 25 damage every 7 seconds. So really no choice but to fight the next team and just try to push into their box, but that's gonna do them in. Curly Reed and Cooper trying to heal up from that last battle, but you see a lot of shields missing. And that means they're going to be in a tough situation here, especially with so many teams nearby. Muzz, Rise, Yapko, they're above the damage threshold as well. But again, missing shields, missing resources, but they're making sure to stay elevated away from everybody else because they know the chaos is what's ensuing down below. It's like quicksand. As soon as you step 1 foot in, you start to sink.
Think about it. They're one of the few teams that have played for high ground. Bugha, Rapid, and Threats have also played consistently for high ground over the course of the weekend when the opportunity
his team's still alive.
To no surprise here. Zone 8, Zone 9, early high ground take. They're committed.
And it goes up the side of the mountain. So in theory, as those teams rotate under him, they can try to reconnect time and time
I don't know how to feel about her either.
Distance, Clix, Yamzo, Higgs trying to run up, keep control of the front side of zone, but now they find themselves below the damage threshold, and it's active. You're seeing them already taking a few ticks, 93 below, falling further, but great shots like that from the full tree.
Yeah, man.
They quickly focus, get above the damage threshold.
I don't know how to feel about her either.
Right away. This is what they're doing, Monster, to maintain their position in the front side of the zone ahead of all these teams.
Super clean rotate, but damage is what they need right now. Jacko and Cheem, that's a dangerous mistake for them to be trailing behind Clix, Yamzo, and Higgs, but no! Higgs ends up getting caught off guard by the other team they were put in between, and now the shots are starting to come on in. Jacko Muzz taking
He's that thing.
a little bit of that distraction there. 73 above now. It's up to Clix and Yamzo. This is the first we've seen them as a duo now. But the pressure is on to perform. Placement points are starting to get given out. Peterbot, Cold, and Ritual heating up now. 6 eliminations. Aiden falls to the hands of Peterbot here.
Clix still below the damage threshold. Reed's playing essentially second height, trying to wait for the perfect moment to go up. As Clix finds another elimination onto Yapko. That's their 7th one of the game, going toe-to-toe, Elim for Elim with Peterbot, Cold, and Ritual. The right strategy to try to stay alive, and the zone pulls far away yet again, and they're taking the slow side. They're going to where it opens up and immediately look back. A quick momentary target onto them, but they handle it with ease.
Peterbot's team playing for high ground, though. Look at how they're trying to poise up here. Focusing up, taking teams in the mid-ground for fights. They're really looking to try to position themselves, but the zone kind of goes up and over this mountain, playing off of the little bit of territory that they managed to claim here. Yamzo and Clix, though, in a world of trouble to find Sphinx there, and they are still going. Yamzo flexing here and now, up and over the box. Danger lurking everywhere right now, still trying to just hold these little bits of maps that he has. And he's playing for himself, but no! The full trio jumps in. Yamzo too soon, too early. Caught out by Curve and his crew. It's all up to Clix now, top 8 here. Just holding on. How far can he take it? It's his moment. How badly does he want this championship? How badly does he want this title?
Only 20 on the Chug Jug. That's a giveaway. You saw them peeking through. He had to sacrifice 10 of that HP, but without builds, he's at the mercy of his opponents. He lands a good shot, but immediately goes down by Braids. And this is the chance for Peterbot, Cold, and Ritual to start to pick up the lead, but he slides too far down the mountain. He goes down. I saw Tyler fall as well. Cold trying to put in work. He gets the elimination and falls before being able to pick up the siphon. Now it's all up to Ritual. The points that they need to separate themselves going to the last game of the day, and Ritual falls on top of that. Best case scenario for Clix, Higgs, and Yamzo going into game 12.
Couldn't write a better story here with how close it's been, and look at who is running it up now. Reed, Curly Cooper from the darkness shines a little bit of light. 12 elims right now in the top 3. They are keeping it competitive. They are looking to fight their way to the global championship here and now, and this is a defining moment. Aegis comes down, puts one down, Rapid falls too. Bugha here to try and clutch it up, and it's all down to everything here. Aegis, man behind the wall, bats are coming out. Bugha's on the low ground, Threats is here to back them up, and they win the game, and another victory royale. The first to go for Bugha and Threats there. They kick the tournament off with the win. They get a win coming into game 11, and it just doesn't get better than that for them.
Yeah, with how close the race is for the global spot, that's exactly what they needed. Not only moving up the leaderboard, but starting to build that confidence. You got to give credit to Reed, Cooper, and Curly as well, hanging on to the very last moment. Even Agers, only solo in that top 3, and he still squeaked out a second place.
Rapid, Bugha, and Threats, you got to think about it. They were in 6 coming into this tournament, and we're talking neck and neck with Muzz, Japco, and Rai. So with that victory right now, that is a big moment for them coming out of Game 11, Zeke. It's just getting more and more competitive.
Bugha! That's right! That's my GOAT! I can't believe from 9th zone they had height. And you know, Kelly, it got a little scary for just like 1 second. Like they were like a little too high. But they kind of preemptively planned, right? They were like, hey, we're going to build just a touch higher than normal. And if the zone pulls over this mountain, we're set. It doesn't. They immediately recognize, back off, and go, all right, let's start to close out this game. We want a little bit of victory out before game 12.
I mean, you say you can't believe it, but we saw them do this in game number 1 yesterday.
Sure.
The Bugha, when they do have height, they do such a good job kind of observing where the zone is pulling, how low ground is kind of holding everything, and they play so appropriately around the rest of the lobby. Big shout outs to Rapid, Bugha, and Threats. They really are the kings of high ground this last week. And I mean, when you have someone like Bugha up on height, and then you have Rapid and Threats just laying down the chaos below, it's only a recipe for success, Vivid.
I mean, this trio is sneaking in or into the top of the leaderboard, right? Threats, obviously, you know, we got Peterbot and Cole. They're putting on quite a clinic, especially in terms of damage dealt. They're going to be first and second, but Threats has been staying close behind them in a close third. We knew Threats, he's like the Amber. He's always known for getting those surge tags, kind of making sure that they're comfortable in making it into the end game right there. Bugha making the cause, IGL, go for the high ground, always setting this trio up. They seem to always kind of be in that spot to actually build one of those towers up, so that way they can go ahead and at least fight for the high ground. This game didn't have to fight for it as much, and they went ahead and ran away with that, got the victory royale.
Man, I love to see it. A single game left to go before Major 2 concludes. When we return, the standings, and we set ourselves up to see who will be crowned kings or back-to-back champions out of NA. We'll see you after this.
After this last match, I'll take you home. Yeah, get it. Well, yeah. I'm just pissed they didn't bring my bundle back. They could have left Shogun out.
took time. I did my breathing exercises. I tried to calm myself down. My tiny little hummingbird heart, and I'm fine for the moment. I'm zen right now. Things are okay. One game left to go in the FNCS Major number 2, Kelly. I'm not stressed at all.
Zeke, what are you doing? I am so stressed right now. Are you kidding me? Look at the standings that we have. Ritual, Cold, and Peterbot, the team that everyone thought was going to walk away in first place for Major 1, trying to reclaim their former glory. Clix, Higgs, and Iamzo in Major 1 finally break the 4th place curse, and now they're looking to win for the first time ever for all 3 of them. And then, of course, in 3rd place, you got Reet, the global champion of Coop, and then Curly, the new guy, or I should say new guy, because he's doing such a good job right now. There's so much potential. How aren't you freaking out right now? Something's wrong with Zeke.
Yeah, I was fully expecting him to just go ahead and break out into a Zeke geek, even with all those breathing exercises. But Peterbot, cold, ritual. You guys will just not place outside of the top 10, will ya? 4th place, 10 eliminations. 35-point lead going into game number 12. Now listen, 35 points, I wouldn't say that it's a comfortable one. It's definitely not a comfortable lead, but I think they can work with that. I think they're definitely set up very, very nicely right here to go ahead and win this FNCS. With 35 points, Clix, Higgs, and Iamzo, that's the team that's trailing them right now. The fact that this is close right now, photo finish going into game number 12, might be the first time that a Vivid freak happens.
Ooh.
So what you're saying is we just have them land on each other. That's it. Let's just settle it right now. Let's just take it back to Invitational, Kelly. Let's just do that.
Yeah, I want to see, Peterbot go to Lone Wolf Lair, and then Clix, they'll be going to Crime City, so they each get each other's POI. But no, I mean, Clix, Higgs, and Iamzo in that game where they had 5 eliminations, and they were still below Storm Surge. And we know that there's some, let's just say, funky things going on with their drops, and they're dealing with some players that have caused a little bit of issues. For them to have that fall into their lap, Vivid, and still be able to come out on top in the low ground, especially when you have Iamzo pulling out these crazy solo clutches. I mean, my goodness, what is this final game going to spell for them?
I keep watching these games from both perspectives of each one of the trios that are in 1st and 2nd right now. And for example, right there, Higgs went down. There was like, that would have been like top 14 if the trio went down right there at the same exact time. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is the game, right? This is the game where they falter, be too big of a lead, and then they just don't. The duo 7th place, 8 eliminations. They make sure they keep it competitive. Neither one of these trios will go down. Neither one of them will make that giant mistake that goes ahead and
just said who won.
The rest of the competition.
The last match, it was
game number 12, and it's even close at all.
TJ, who won the last match?
All of the clutches that have been happening.
I think it's
Who won the last match? I forgot.
Clix has qualified to the global championships, right? I think it's it's a pretty
Bugha won. Bugha
bet. However,
Bugha won that last match.
there is still a title that he's trying to earn. And it would just be unbelievable to see him win. Now, of course, there's other players as well, like Reed Cooper and Curry.
So
Josh said okay.
Peterbot is in the lead. Clix Nim is in. This is the last match.
Not done. We still need to make sure we put a few on the board, because what we don't want to do is slip out of that top 4. Because again, remember, Peterbot's already qualified, so we're looking at top 4. But still, we just need to put on a little.
So in this match, okay, so in this case, right?
Securing ourselves a spot, going to globals.
Do you land with people and push people?
This is now the major that you want to make it, and you don't want to have to go through major 3. There's only 2 spots open, and this is just the best performance we have seen out of Reet and Cooper and Curly in quite some time. Cooper just kind of surprised everyone when he got the global championship, and I actually got to have an interview with him in Major 1 where he's like, I have the trophy, I don't need to prove myself anymore. But yet he comes back for Major 2 and is proving himself once again. This is why I won with Miro. Do not sleep on me, because I'm not done yet.
Yeah, and my eyes are going to be tuned into that 4th place spot.
It's cool how competitive this is. You know what I'm saying?
That qualification spot. I think Muzz, Yapko, and Rise are also close enough to be in contention.
I look at this, and this gonna sound so bad. I look at this better than. Hear me out when I say this. Professional sport. And let me tell you why. You can't control. No one can. No numbers. No nothing can control how these fellas are playing. You see what I'm saying?
Major's been so entertaining, and Peterbot and Clix make it even more entertaining. Peterbot,
No numbers, no betting, no nothing. Control this.
from last year. This is gonna be crazy, Jacob, as Game 12 is cooking up right now, and we already know there's one finals on the line, and there are other global championship spots that are being fought for. Third and fourth place in particular, as Zeke just set the stage, is not safe at all. So here we have it, Jacob.
Yeah, and you got to think Clix, Higgs, and Yamzo have all come so close to winning an FNCS before. This is Game 12. Will they achieve that dream? Let's find out. It wasn't too long ago, 2024 Major 3. Higgs, known as Batman Bugha back then, they got a second place with Rapid. Iamzo been in this position.
Just saying, I looked it up how to fix it, but nothing works.
Told you what you need to do. You just want to play on that Josh account, don't you?
As well, every single one of these guys fell short. But what happens is one setback makes for a greater.
Oh, he wearing his skin, bro.
Josh said, bro, it's going to happen again.
Bro, he put on his skin. Alright. Alright, I see you.
Championship here at the FNCS stage, and it just doesn't get any better than that.
So what's up? He wearing his shit. His stuff.
Letting go a sigh of relief as they are uncontested. Saw a couple tweets coming out from the woodworks from Sandman.
Oh, Peterbot got on that skin. Ugh. I do not like that skin.
From Peterbot, Ritual and Cold, but seems like they were just messing around, trying to keep us on our toes here. Peterbot, Ritual and Cold seem to have their strategy going about as usual.
Yeah, kind of everything here. The same as almost every other game out the gates. I think Visuals, Braids, and Diminish have somebody set up towards Foxy to try to land some shots over in this direction. Early surge, allowing them flexibility through the early and mid portions of the game, so we don't have to start to make it too much of a focal point. And that actually isn't diminished. He's going to go ahead and back up. Go ahead and loot that server room, something that they fought for and conditioned this team that if you're going to fight us for it, it is going to be a risk for both of us. And now on the north side of the map, Flooded Frogs, Reet, Cooper, and Curly. They just need to close out, Monster.
They have to stay consistent. They're 60 points ahead right now. However, they need to earn at least an end game.
I know, bro.
Those placement points. And we all know that just even last game, right? Teams can mix up their strategy. Clix and his trio decided to kind of ambush Reet, Cooper, and Curly, almost catching them off guard there for a brief moment. But they got away with it.
Josh said if I do, I have to get level 300 and play 30 ranked cups.
Oh,
Josh said, I think.
Truly get comfortable as Bugha.
Yeah, that's a lot.
One of those buildings, just chop it down. It's going to be the easiest way to get everything that you need and more, especially since most
What they do?
creatures are outside of Seaport overall. Just got to go ahead and loot up here in the early game. You talk about like the placements, how they're being separated. 5th place, 575 points, just under Visuals, Braids, and Diminish, who are inside of that bubble in terms of qualifying for the Global Championship at 619 points. Everybody, I think, from 3rd place down.
What? Why it's not working? You still working? Dang, my controller went off. What's in this shop? Oh. Too big. Oh, what I do? Did. It ain't do it. It said waiting for other players. You want to go back to the lobby and come back in?
And take advantage of the weakened team in the middle. It's Taki, Ishu, and Vert. Managed to clash multiple times here today. Muzz, Japco, Rise on the move right now. No strangers to play an early center, but Clix, Yamzo, and Higgs getting into a full-on fight right now. Clix tagged up once again here. Backed off to heal. Using those prestigious splashes. A fight breaking off on the other side. And their opportunity here now to find a bunch of elims is definitely starting to open up. They already have one here. But no, they want to move. This is the pressure starting to set in here. The pressure of winning this major finals. The reality is kicking in here. And instead of sticking around to fight it, they decide that they want to back out. Jacob, what's your thoughts on that?
This is the last one, bro. We're still in. Then after this, bro, I'm probably going to. I gotta go drop my son off. I'm gonna stream and drop my son off, and then when I get back home, we're gonna stream Sea of Thieves. I wasn't planning on playing Fortnite today. I played today earlier.
Up until a certain point where Storm Surge starts to appear, but I even think that Storm Surge might appear just a zone later than some of these previous games.
I wouldn't doubt it. 4 teams already eliminated. Reek, Cooper find themselves 2 elims here on the outskirts of the Whiffy. Not bad at all, given that this is a team that just has to inch their way up to the next threshold. They're so close, yet so far. Reek easily one of the community's favorites. We've seen him kind of grow up. We've seen him mature and really find his footing. We've seen Cooper rise up from the ash. Just take a look at the highlights here. Finding Natmos there on the outskirts.
What's crazy is
Japco with the early rotate here, Jacob.
What I was about to say is Reek was one of those players along with Epic Whale when West got announced. He was like, yo, I'm going to play with a few players, Enact, Coughs, just try to take a West championship. But there's only one spot that actually qualifies in Major 1. That was Bugha, Pars, and Pump. He goes back on over to Central, doesn't make Major 1, and then now look at him, Monster. He's in a position to go to the Global Championships as Muzz, Rise, Yapko also getting aggressive. And just one thing I know for certain in this game, with how close the leaderboard is, it might come down to points. Monster, what is this?
I was going to say, forget the points, Jacob. We got the clash that we've been looking for. Clix's team pushing to the Crime City. We knew this was going to be a potential option.
Let's get it.
Could it be that Clix, Yamzo, and Higgs are going to wait to the last game to bring...
What? Okay, there you go.
Cold is so
Keep,
smart. He's going for that natural high ground right now. Playing towards the market. They understand that they have the advantage on this side. That positioning is going to...
Do they know each other there?
Yamzo, Higgs, and Clix nearly catch them off guard there, but you know they're not going to let this one slide.
It's a dangerous game they're playing here, boys. The top 2 teams going at it, and rightfully so. If Clix, Higgs, and Yamzo were to go down right now at this point in the game with 0 eliminations, which they have 1, they're still going to lock in their 2nd place, so they have almost nothing to lose and everything to
What skin is this they got on?
By trying to hunt down Peterbot, and it's just kind of crazy.
Yeah, Peterbot now. Why is it keep freezing, bro? Bro, I'm froze. Oh my God. Bro, it froze on me. Bro, it froze. I ain't got nobody right now. You know I got it up. Come on, come on, come on. Come on.
Kirakisha said he's getting off after the last match.
Peter about them ran. They ran, bro. Why Higgs got that skin on, bro?
This is going down. Different strategies for both of these teams. No surge bases, which means, in theory, they could be below the surge threshold or more further down than they would hope to be.
Oh, for sure. But look at the player count, right? This game, we knew undoubtedly was going to move a little faster, so they do get to have a little bit of a moment, right, to kind of situate themselves. However, once we start getting into that mid-game and the next thresholds begin to appear, it's going to become more and more apparent, right, that this is a team that will have to work for it. Clix and Yamzo double back to the market here, though. A little bit of leftover goods from
What?
for Peterbot, Cooper, Ree, and Curly, though.
Okay.
Another elimination, stepping themselves one more giant leap towards the global championship stage here. Very impressive overall. You got to give tons of respect and credit to this team that just, again, formulated out of nowhere, picking up Curly here. A great addition. Oh, but look at this. Peterbot got his eyes on him.
I'm almost getting that feeling of deja vu because it was in Group 1. We were watching them.
They is running from everybody.
The lobbies, particularly in games 4 and 5, and I was thinking to myself, oh man, how many FNCSs did they just ruin by bulldozing these teams? And that was a possible another chances if they were to take down Reek, Cooper, and Curly. They can only sit by and wait and hope that their points stand.
Oh, he got that
Second elimination of the game.
whatchamacallit, hollow.
Because they're staggering farther back, which means they haven't been able to get the damage. And then the heals on top of that they need to make sure that they're healthy when they exit the zone, and that's how they picked it up. 3v1, all angles secured.
Game 12. FNCS Finals Major 2.
There we go.
Nothing short of exceptional. And it doesn't matter who you're rooting for. It doesn't matter who you're a fan of. The way that these trios have managed to...
I hate I didn't get that skin now, bro.
...to push one another and kind of test the skills, test the boundaries of each other is what has made this an absolutely incredible FNCS, and it is still ongoing here.
Didn't get it.
Clix, Higgs, and Yamzo do have 2 eliminations. Keep in mind,
Because I really didn't know who he was, you know what I'm saying?
Gap is starting to close. Mudjack on Rise, end up losing one. This is not looking good right now. It's a full-on fight here. Pressure coming in here. On the low ground, get it from Muzz is nice. Not a big enough tag to give him a huge advantage here. Liam now pushing a wall. Muzz super quick with the layer change.
Who?
Yeah, he's doing a good
Oh, talking about the dude right here?
Still
Uh-huh.
attacking from different angles. finally backtrack, reunites with Yapko. Down goes the Water Sprite. And the longer this fight goes, both of these trios are going to have to start thinking, is it going to be worth it? Do we disengage out? Especially the one that is going to be on the high ground. They have the overall say, and down goes the Thermite. And even though it's not big damage, they at least kind of get a feel of where Yapko's positioned at along with Muzz as they continue to fire and keep pushing pressure down as Yapko's shields go out the window. Muzz is feeling the pressure, forced to converge onto the low ground, build some extra space.
Oh,
and there's isolated right now. Oh,
Curly's
no.
down. Third place might be on a lifeline right now. Muzz, Japco, and Rise just have to kind of hold in. There might be 2 spots opening up for the global championship here. Japco's hurt. Muzz has to hold it down now, but they've been on the retreat this entire time. The pressure from Broken is starting to build up here. Muzz looking for an escape plan. Down they go, out to the side. No mats to really work with, though. This is all but dangerous. A very risky play to fully disengage here, but they do it. They get inside of the facility here and now, and the team up top kind of eases off. What is going on here? Game 12. Really is kind of tossed in the air right now.
Yeah, and it kind of makes me wonder because we're all this was going down. Well, this is how
Got my Clix and Peter.
down. I noticed in the feed, Coop.
Man, Peter Bot. I mean, Clix. The storm. That was clutch. They gone. All right, live. We're gonna end right here, but we'll be back live later. My screen, look, my screen is frozen. Oh, you did. That's crazy.